Chen Tianfei took a step forward and ruthlessly slapped the shopkeeper's face. Chen Tianfei took a step forward and ruthlessly slapped the shopkeeper's face. He was in charge of everything. Without waiting for him to stop, Chen Tianfei used his leg to kick him, causing him to fall onto the ground. He stomped on the face of the manager, spitting on the shopkeeper's face. The shopkeeper was beaten into a daze and his brain short-circuited. He shouted, "Brat, do you know who I am? To dare to lay your hands on me, I'll see who you are." Not waiting for him to finish, Chen Tianfei's 250 catty body fiercely pressed down. Poochie. The shopkeeper was so full of shit that he had broken a few bones and his face was incomparably pale. It was also at this time. Chen Tianfei took out a golden note from his chest, threw it on the manager's face, and said disdainfully, "Is that enough?" Gold banknotes. The lowest denomination was 100,000 taels. The shopkeeper's eyes lit up, and he agreed, enough is enough, enough is enough. 100,000 gold notes was enough to buy 10 of these shops. The shopkeeper was overjoyed in his heart as he laughed in his heart. What a fool, ha ha ha. He's completely brainless. Is that enough? I haven't. Chen Tianfei looked at the shop assistant who had started eyeing him covetously, hooked his fingers, and said, "Hit him ruthlessly." Who hit him the most ruthlessly? 1,000 gold liangs. The shop assistant's eyes quivered, and as if they had been injected with chicken blood, they began to crazily punch and kick the shopkeeper. Holy armor King Kong. This was simply a popinjay, Vaja. Humph. You dare to be arrogant with me, I'll be afraid even if I were to be arrogant. Chen Tianfei walked to Long Fei's side and giggled, "Benefactor, everything is settled." Before he could finish his words, he saw a beautiful woman sitting at a table not far away from him. He immediately ran up and stepped on the stool. He made a sad expression and said, "Beauty, I can." "Ah, piggy." The woman let out a scream and ran out. Chen Tianfei tilted his head and looked at the other woman who was not far away. "Beautiful girl, eat whatever you want. Let's talk about life after we finish eating." The woman trembled as she continuously retreated, fleeing from the hotel as she shouted, "Pervert." Next. Everyone in the store was scared out of their wits. The shopkeeper was also beaten half to death as he crawled out. Chen Tianfei looked at the empty restaurant and disdainfully said, "Just nice, no one will disturb us for our meal. Hurry up. My benefactor is starving. If there's anything good to eat, bring it all to me. Less than 100 dishes, I'll take the life of the chef." Chen Tianfei said in a very displeased tone. Looking at the fleeing ladies, he sighed in his heart, "How come no one can find me handsome?" Sigh. Only God Emperor Academy's fragrance court has good taste. An average person really wouldn't be able to discover a 250 catties worth of handsome meat. There was only one type of person that could be found, a blind person. Long Fei smiled slightly as he looked at Chen Tianfei, and said, "Sometimes I really need this kind of playboy young master, at least he's missing a lot of flies." Xiao Ying said in disdain, "Using money to smash people, HMPH. After a while, a large wave of dishes were served, and the four of them started to eat. Chen Tianfei said, "All of you stay guard at the door, whoever dares to disturb this young master's meal, beat them to death for me. If anything happens, I will take responsibility." How could a man who could buy a hotel so easily have a simple identity? The four waiters immediately guarded the door, chasing away all the guests who had entered. "Benefactor. If not for you saving me today, there would be one less handsome man in this world. 4 handsome men, for the beauties of this world, let me toast you." Chen Tianfei finished it in one gulp. Xiao Ying said with disdain, "Stop talking, I'm about to vomit." Chen Tianfei giggled, and said, "Little beauty, are you pregnant with my child?" "You." Xiao Ying was so angry that smoke rose from his head, he clenched his fists tightly. Chen Tianfei immediately added, "It's just a joke, don't be so serious. It's normal for a pretty girl like you to like handsome men like me." Xiao Ying said, "Shameless, your skin is thicker than tree bark." Suddenly, boom. One of the employees was directly kicked in, smashing a table into pieces. Bang, bang, bang. 3 consecutive sounds. The 3 waiters were all kicked unconscious. Chen Tianfei was enraged, Fuck you, who dared to behave atrociously here after eating the heart of a bear leopard? It was also at this time. More than 10 uniformed disciples surrounded the door. A middle-aged man slowly walked in with a disdainful sneer on his face. He said, "Marquis Chen Xiaolian, it's me." Chen Tianfei's gaze tightened and his expression abruptly changed. The domineering aura of a popinjay wasn't even halfway left on his body as he said to Long Fei in a low voice, "I've met a tough opponent." Chen Tianfei said, "So it's Butler Murong. What are you doing here instead of staying in the Murong Prince's mansion?" Murong Yi, a steward of the Murong Prince's estate. He was also one of the instructors of the Murong mansion. Very powerful. Long Fei looked at Man Tuoluo and the expression in his eyes wavered. Murong Yi laughed coldly, "Of course it's for you. Be more honest, hand over the 3-rate fairy vein." 3-rate fairy vein? What 3-rate fairy vein? I don't even know what you're talking about. Chen Tianfei pretended not to know. Murong Yi said coldly, "Trying to act dumb with me?" Suddenly, Murong Yi's body moved, and instantly landed beside Chen Tianfei. The iron claw on his right hand was glowing with a cold light, as he pressed it directly against Chen Tianfei's lower jaw. 3-rate fairy vein. It was priceless and extremely precious. Even the nobles and nobles of the God Emperor city couldn't easily take it out. The 3-rate fairy vein was the life-saving immortal root of the Chen family, and was obtained by Chen Tianfei when he risked his life. It was even more difficult than killing him. Chen Tianfei said, "Murong Yi, if you have the guts, kill me. You want to use the 3-rate fairy vein? In your dreams." Murong Yi's forehead turned sinister, and said, "Kill you? Hee hee. Where do I find 3-rate fairy vein after killing you? Then it should be a fire cloud fairy root, right? You want to use it to save your grandfather's life? Heh heh. Do you think you can save him?" Chen Tianfei's expression tightened, and shouted, "Murong Yi, how did you know?" Murong Yi laughed, "We know a lot of things. Do you think you can find the fire cloud cave with just your strength? If it wasn't for your fused armor and immortal foundation, would we even need you? F***CK. You use lousy as a gun." Chen Tianfei thought that it was strange that he would get the immortal foundation treasure map for no reason. He never expected that all of this would be a scheme. Murong Yi said, "Hand it over. Even if you don't hand it over, we still have a way. This is your best chance." Floating Life Strongest Upgrade System. Chen Tianfei roared, "Kill me if you dare." Murong Yi's eyes flashed with killing intent, and said coldly, "You think I do not dare?" It was also at this time. Long Fei raised his wine cup, glanced at Murong Yi from the corner of his eyes, and said with contempt, "If you have the guts, try it." Chapter 5, 8_8419235692. As soon as he finished. Long Fei's body also released a burst of killing intent. Intense killing intent. Chen Tianfei was his holy armor King Kong, his person. If anyone dared to move. Table of contents. Chen Tianfei was grateful in his heart, but he was very clear about the Murong family's power, and immediately said, "Benefactor, it's not your fault, you should quickly leave." He was a man of principle. He definitely wouldn't allow his brother to carry him when there was trouble. He was extremely grateful that Long Fei had saved him. Along the way, he kept acting like a fool and flirted with Man Tuoluo because he did not want Long Fei to guess his identity. He also made up his mind that as long as he could reach God Emperor City, he would leave Long Fei. Because God Emperor City was even more dangerous. She didn't want to drag Long Fei into the water. Murong Yi's pair of eyes turned slightly, he stared at Long Fei and sneered, "This time, there really is a person who doesn't fear trouble. The holy 6th rank dares to be so arrogant in front of me." Humph. Murong Yi's figure moved, suddenly he attacked Xiong Longfei, and asked, "Who gave you the right to be arrogant?" A killing move. The Netherworld Claw attacked. Long Fei's eyes moved. At this time, Man Tuoluo slightly nodded his head. Boom. Long Fei clenched his fists. Without waiting for Murong Yi to rush forward, he punched out, Immortal Divine Fists. Holy 6th rank. Almost looking to die. Murong Yi did not even put Long Fei in his eyes, the holy 6th rank was just too weak. However, Just at that moment, his power suddenly disappeared and he could no longer feel anything. His heart sank as he shouted in fear, "What's going on?" Boom! A fist landed on Murong-Yi's chest, and the chest turned into wood. Without waiting for Murong-Yi to react, Long Fei threw out a second fist, then a third, and a fourth. Bang, bang, bang. 18 consecutive punches. It directly pierced through Murong-Yi's abdomen and completely turned his chest into rotten wood. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Murong-Yi for obtaining 1700 experience, 100 power of celestial and 100 energy values. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining golden stakes. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining inferior grade fairy stones. Not bad. The corner of Long Fei's mouth curved up as he looked at the corpse on the ground and sneered, "To kill you, holy 6th rank is enough." Chen Tianfei was stunned. Stupid. He had thought along the way that Long Fei was not strong, that the holy 6th rank was too weak, and that he was only at the 8th level of the immortal realm. Seeing Long Fei kill Murong-Yi, he was completely dumbfounded. So powerful. Of course. He did not know that this was the reason why Man Tuoluo had used poison. Otherwise, Long Fei would not be Murong-Yi's match. With such a strong opponent present, it was as if Chen Tianfei had turned into a completely different person. Mother **K, if you have the guts, come at me. The expressions of the tight uniformed guards changed. The strength that Long Fei had released was too tyrannical. He instantly killed Murong-Yi. This is the holy 6th rank. Immediately, the guards quickly retreated, not daring to stay for another half a second. Chen Tianfei said arrogantly, "Grandson, if you have guts, don't run. Come and bite your grandfather's neck. Benefactor. You saved my life again, you are just too handsome. Just a little bit worse than me." Chen Tianfei shamelessly said. He looked at Long Fei and said, "But the Murong clan will not let us go so easily. Let's hurry up and go." The Murong family's power in the God Emperor city was extremely strong. Chen Tianfei was very worried in his heart. Long Fei asked, "Where to?" Chen Tianfei said, "Go to the God Emperor city, and head back to God Emperor city before them. You all must quickly enter the God Emperor Academy." No matter how strong he was still not strong enough to be a God Emperor Academy. Once you enter the God Emperor Academy, no one will dare to act rashly. Not to mention the Murong King's manner. At this moment, another group of people came to the door. "You want to escape? Humph. Fatty Chen, all of you will die here today." The black-clothed man wielded his sword and shouted, "You guys take care of that poison master first." The reason Murong-Yi died just now was not because he was that strong. It was because of Man Tuoluo. Chen Tianfei's gaze tightened. "It's you guys again, are you guys? I'll fight it out with you." At this moment, Long Fei grabbed Fatty Chen's shoulder and said, "Listen to my command." Chen Tianfei was startled and said, "Benefactor, what method do you have?" They are all experts of the spiritual level, and all of them are experts of the sword. "You do it. I will be the main attacker. You must be a sword expert, right?" The corner of Long Fei's mouth drew back and said, "It's time to practice the infinite sword that has been cultivating for a month." Long Fei did not linger during the journey. Instead, he continued to cultivate the infinite sword. This was Master Yi's sword truth. Chen Tianfei muttered and said, "What do you mean by I'm sorry?" Not waiting for him to finish, Long Fei pushed him out of the way and said, "Block his attack." "Huh!" Chen Tianfei was like a meatball as he staggered forward. In his heart, Long Fei thought, its defense is heaven-defying, a holy armor King Kong. Following that, Long Fei held onto a chopstick, his figure following closely behind Chen Tianfei's huge body. A sword struck out, and at the same time, he shouted in his heart, "Infinite sword." The sword intent instantly changed. The sword intent on Long Fei's body became extremely intense, as if it had fused into a berserk realm. Break. As the chopsticks pierced outwards, Chen Tianfei's body sank in and he withstood the attack with all his might. His body was completely unharmed, and it was also at this time. A chopstick pierced through his throat. First kill. Long Fei grabbed Chen Tianfei and pushed him again, his body suddenly becoming stronger. Teleportation. The chopsticks moved, aiming at the back of his head. Second kill. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei. If Long Fei did not stop, then the sword intent of the infinite sword would not stop. A powerful sword intent wrapped itself around his body. At this moment, Long Fei felt that he was a sword saint. Whoosh, whoosh whoosh, triple murder. Again, Long Fei's body charged forward again, his speed becoming faster and faster, as though his body was dragging a long string of after-images, like he was a master. Fourth killer. 5 kills, 5 kills. Long Fei's heart exploded, 4th level, peerless. With his 16-fold increase in elemental energy, the chi around his body became even stronger, and this time he did not make use of Chen Tianfei, but charged forward by himself. In that instant, the sword moved for the man in black and said solemnly, "I don't believe it. A mere trash of the holy 6th rank is my match." Sky-piercing sword technique. One move. It was as if water from another world was poured down, enveloping Long Fei within countless sword moves. One step forward. Xiao Ying cried out in alarm, "Young Master Long, be careful." Man Tuoluo's mind also tensed up, he was so afraid that he couldn't say a word. Chen Tianfei's buttocks went limp as he thought to himself, "We're doomed." Ah! Long Fei was enraged and roared, "Alpha Assault." 5th killing. Chapter 6, add a chapter and a monthly ticket, thank you. 8_841923569333. Disappeared. Disappeared. She suddenly disappeared. Completely gone. The black-clothed man's sky current sword moves all missed, and Long Fei disappeared into thin air. But, in the blink of an eye, Long Fei suddenly appeared in front of him. Shua. His throat turned red. A chopstick pierced through his throat and came out from the back of his neck. The black-clothed man's expression instantly changed. His eyes were filled with incomparable fear. He wanted to say something, but, however, there was no sound. His body was swaying. Clutching his throat with both hands, he staggered backwards before finally falling heavily onto the street. The passers-by were scared witless. Spit him on QQ. 5th killing. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei 4 killing Black Flame 4 gaining 200 EXP, 11 power of Celestial, and 10 energy values. Congratulations to player Long Fei 4 obtaining gold banknotes number 1. The system sounded out a few times. In that instant, the infinite sword burst forth crazily, Alpha Assault gushed out like a spring, and Long Fei also released a sword move under it. A one-hit kill. Crispy skin. That's not right. Alpha Assault was too fierce, the damage was too high, he was killed instantly, ha ha ha. Long Fei's heart was boiling. At this time, the sword intent of the infinite sword slowly disappeared. It was also at this time. Long Fei's body suddenly sank, woo. It was as if his entire body had been completely hollowed out. He was extremely exhausted, and his mental energy was completely exhausted. It was extremely uncomfortable. The infinite sword was a type of sword intent. It needed a strong spiritual force to support it. Alpha Assault was the same, the technique just now was executed to the limit, that was why Long Fei had such a symptom. It can't be used carelessly. Alpha Assault must not be used carelessly. Long Fei felt like throwing up, his heart was filled with fear, his mental energy was empty, his body was extremely tired. At this moment, Chen Tianfei's eyes slowly recovered, he rushed forward and laid on Long Fei's thigh. Awesome, awesome, why are you so amazing? What is the Tao of the sword? What sword technique? I've never seen him before. From today onwards, you are my, Chen Tianfei's, boss. I will follow you. At the same time, Chen Tianfei snot and teared up as he said, "Boss, you scared me to death. I thought I was going to die, that I would never be able to return to the God Emperor city, and that I wouldn't be able to see the ladies of Fragrance Court. You are my lucky star. I will never forget you in this life. Even if I die, I won't forget you. Pa, how could I become a ghost?" Ever since he obtained the Fire Cloud Fairy route, he was hunted down and pursued by the people from the Mu Rong family and the mysterious killer. It was a disaster for him to jump off such a high cliff. Now, facing the Mu Rong family, the mysterious killer didn't die. He repeated the feeling of dying several times a day. It was too unbearable. Let go. Long Fei could not bear to watch any further. Chen Tianfei said, I will not let you go. I will not let you go even if you beat me to death. Long Fei asked, You're not letting go? Chen Tianfei said, I will not let go of him. I have decided to hug your thigh. If anyone dares to steal from me, I will fight with them. F***CK. Didn't you see a lot of people looking at me? You made me act like a gay man, acting as if I'm going to abandon you from the start. You're not letting me go, you're not letting me go. Long Fei scolded. There were a lot of people gathered at the outer sect and all of them were looking at Long Fei with that kind of expression. Even Man Tuoluo and Xiao Ying had the kind of you're a gay expression. Chen Tianfei said, a gay man is a gay man. For you, I am willing to give up my chrysanthemum. I am a gay man, I am willing. Honor your sister. Who can bear this 250 jin chrysanthemum, open it up for me. Long Fei fiercely stomped. Seeing that Chen Tianfei was not letting go, he immediately said, Damn, there's a beauty in front. Where? Where? Beauty, don't go. Hearing about beauties, Chen Tianfei's reflexes instantly lightened. He immediately ran out the door to take a look, and realized he had fallen into a trap. Long Fei said, Try hugging another one. Xiao Ying. Xiao Ying immediately stood beside Long Fei and said, Young Master Long, I will send him flying 18 streets with a single punch. Chen Tianfei revealed a wretched smile as he looked at Long Fei, and said, Boss, as long as you don't leave, I will definitely not hug your leg, he. Right. Chen Tianfei laughed like Metria Buddha and asked, Can I ask you a question? Long Fei said, Speak. Chen Tianfei said, Can you tell me why you're so handsome? Long Fei said. Chen Tianfei immediately changed his words and asked, I want to ask you, what exactly was that sword move you used just now called? How come I've never seen it before? His Chen family was a general's residence. Forget about everything else, just cultivation techniques. There were a lot of sword techniques, but he had never seen Long Fei's sword techniques before. It suddenly disappeared. It suddenly appeared. The speed of his sword was like that of a ghost, and his attack power was so strong that it could explode. Man Tuoluo also wanted to know. Xiao Ying also curiously looked at Long Fei. They all wanted to know. That Alpha Assault was just too cool. Not only was it powerful, it also had the key point of dodging all the attacks in an instant. Long Fei looked at the three of them and laughed, I am a great sword master. I am able to comprehend a sword technique. That sword technique was comprehended by me at the last moment. F***CK. The three of them said one word, their expressions the same. Then, the three of them said in unison, pervert. That one move was imprinted in their minds and they couldn't get rid of it. In particular, Chen Tianfei had gained a bit more respect and adoration for Long Fei, but that was not enough for him to complete the mission. He simply admired Long Fei. After they calmed down, Chen Tianfei slightly furrowed his brows, and said, I didn't think that all of this was a scheme by the Murong King's manor, and I think the fire clouds gamble that my grandfather made was also done by them. Boss, Tongxian City is only a small city, and the power of the Murong King's manor is not here either. If you're going to the God Emperor City, I'm worried. Although Long Fei was very strong. However, the Murong King's manor was even stronger. He didn't want to drag Long Fei into the water. Long Fei said, Don't worry, I will be going to God Emperor City soon. He was just worrying that he wouldn't be able to find a place to level up. If it was just the Murong King's manor, then he reckoned that it would be able to level up by a few levels. Moreover, he had made an agreement with Li Yuanbar and the others to meet at God Emperor City. Thus, http:// this God Emperor City, he had to enter. Furthermore, Chen Tianfei's Holy Armor King conquest had not been completed, so how could he leave? Chen Tianfei's eyes were filled with gratitude as he said, Boss, I'm starting to admire you a little. Don't worship this brother. This brother is only a legend. 8_84 19 2356934 The night passed without incident. The night passed without incident. No one from the Mu Rong family came back. The killers did not come again. One night, Long Fei slept like a dead pig. The infinite sword consumed too much of his mental energy. Once it was activated, he could only advance forward and continuously release it until the moment he stopped. The next morning, the three of them gathered in the hotel lobby, but they did not discover the fat Chen Tianfei. At this moment, an assistant walked up to him and said, "Master Long, this is the letter that Grand Marshal Chen has given you." "Chen Duo?" Xiao Ying muttered, "Who is it?" Long Fei said, "It's Fatty Chen." "Huh. Damn, does he have anything to do with the word handsome? And Chen is too handsome, my god." Xiao Ying was depressed. How could a 250 kilograms fatty be related to a handsome guy? Long Fei opened the letter and took a look. Fatty Chen will go to God Emperor City first. How did he leave alone? Man Tuoluo asked. Long Fei said, "It should be that the matter is more urgent, let's not waste any more time. Go to God Emperor City. God Emperor City, Murong King's Manor." "What? Murong Yi was killed by a strange guy?" Murong Fenglei's eyes were startled, her expression furious, and asked, "Then what about the fire cloud fairy route?" "I didn't get it." Murong Fenglei rushed over and ruthlessly kicked him. "Trash, you still have the face to come back before I snatch it away? Why didn't you die outside?" Then, the disciple quickly crawled back up and kneeled on the ground after being sent flying by the kick. He said, "Please spare my life, Master Hu." "Big brother. What do we do now? If news of this gets out, then it will be detrimental to our Murong family. Although the power of the general's household is getting weaker and weaker every day, if that old fellow from the Chen family gets his fire cloud fairy route and recuperates, then..." Murong Fenglei said as her gaze tightened, "It was hard to find an opportunity, I didn't think that." His fists were clenched tightly. As long as he could get the three-rate fairy vein, then everything would be under his control. Who would have thought? It was unimaginable for them to see a Long Fei appearing out of nowhere. "Big brother, they should still be on their way back to the God Emperor City. It would be better if we..." The other person made a throat-slitting motion. "Now that they have disappeared without a trace, and we do not understand that brat, what's more important is that brat a student that was accepted by the God Emperor Academy?" Mu Rong Chang Tian frowned. Indeed. Everything else was fine. However, if it was a student that the God Emperor Academy broke into, then not even the Divine Emperor could afford to offend them, much less the Murong King's Manor. Recently, God Emperor Academy even praised the students who had broken all rules to the heavens. It could be seen how important these students were. Just a little carelessness allowed him to provoke these students who had failed to pass the examinations. God Emperor Academy's fury was not something that a mere Duke Palace like him could endure. Murong Fenglei was very clear on this point in his heart, and said, "Investigate that brat's background first. If you can kill Murong Yi in an instant, that brat is definitely not simple, you have to investigate it thoroughly for me." "Yes, sir." "Big brother, what about the Chen family? This is the three-rate fairy vein after all. If he can give it to Tianna and break through another layer, he might be able to become the Devil Slayer that all the Heavenly Hall of Immortals look for. If our Mu Rong family can produce a Demon Slayer, then..." "Don't even mention a Chen family." He suddenly lowered his voice and said solemnly, "So what if it's the Divine Emperor? Demon Slayer." The three words that made people incomparably excited. As the nobleman of the God Emperor Academy, he naturally had some information about the Tongtian Hall of Immortals. The Demon Slayer was someone that the Tongtian Hall of Immortals was looking for. If there could be one in the Mu Rong family, then he would be the one to crush everything. Fire Cloud Fairy Route. Murong Fenglei clenched his teeth, and said, "Watch the Chen family closely, send people to watch the various gates, if you find that damn fatty Chen Tianfei, immediately report to me." "Yes, sir." In another place. All dead. He failed to snatch the three-rate fairy vein. Damn it. Hall Master, we did not get it, and the Mu Rong family did not get it either. Furthermore, to be able to kill the eighth brother in one slash is definitely not simple. Maybe he is God Emperor Academy's broken disciple. If that's the case, we So what if you're a student that broke the admission limit? Whoever dares to stand in the way of our Black Shark faction will die. The students of the God Emperor Academy are truly amazing. That's right. The 3-rate fairy vein is priceless. Our Black Shark faction will not let you off. Moreover, we have a scapegoat, the Murong Prince's mansion. Black Shark faction. The #1 gang in God Emperor City. Their strength was comparable to a first-rate family. They were secretive in their actions. There was a group of professionally trained assassins who had a lot of power. The reason they had set their eyes on the Fire Cloud Fairy route was also because of the Murong clan's employment. When facing the 3-rate fairy vein, they wanted to eat the dark, but they were only forced to flee a few times by Chen Tianfei. The Hall Master's gaze tightened as he said faintly, Tongxian City's God Emperor Academy is a 3-day journey. If we're fast, we'll arrive in 2 days. Do you understand? Hee, Hall Master, just wait and see. We have never been afraid of anyone in the God Emperor City. See how I take care of this damn student who broke the admission requirement. The Murong King's manor was making its move. The Black Shark faction was also moving. One was bright, and the other was dark. It was as if 2 invisible nets had been set up, waiting for Long Fei to enter the net. Inescapable net. On the public road leading to the God Emperor City. Many of them were youths that were dressed extravagantly and had a complacent expression. Many of these people were people who had entered the God Emperor City to participate in the God Emperor Academy's assessment. Amongst them, Long Fei's attire was too low-key, so low-key that it was like he was a servant. It didn't matter if he wore it. Long Fei had never set his eyes on this. Along the way, Xiao Ying was like a little sparrow chattering non-stop, and said, Young Master Long, I heard that the God Emperor City is very big, bigger than our Medicine Valley and the entire Herb Mountain. Is there really such a big city? Young Master Long, can we enter the God Emperor Academy? Young Master Long. It didn't stop. After journeying for 2.5 days and standing on a small mountain, Long Fei suddenly stopped. It was because a huge city that looked like a prehistoric beast had appeared before them. The 3 of them were simultaneously shocked. Xiao Ying muttered, It's too big, right? Man Tualuo was also shocked. It is said that God Emperor City is the #1 city in the entire Sky Martial continent. Seeing it today is indeed extraordinary. Long Fei thought, this is even F*King more powerful than my previous life. Suddenly, Xiao Ying said from the sky far away, Look, there's a huge mountain in the clouds. Floating life, table of contents, no windows. A++ God Emperor Mountain. God Emperor Academy is at the top of the mountain. Man Tualuo was also excited. Long Fei's heart boiled with excitement, and he said, We're finally here. Yuan Ba. Jojo, are you here yet? Chapter 28_8419235695. The #1 city in 10,000 years, God Emperor City. The #1 city in 10,000 years, God Emperor City. The immortal domain was the center of the Sky Martial continent. Similarly, the God Emperor City was also the center of the immortal domain. The God Imperial Peak was the central axis of the Qianwu continent, tens of thousands of meters tall, a celestial peak that connected heaven and earth. It was the highest peak in the Qianwu continent, and the top layer was filled with dense spirit energy, making it the best place to cultivate. Above the God Emperor Peak was the place where the Heavenly Hall of Immortals was located, the outer world. It floated in the air like a small island in a sea of clouds, as if it was a completely different world. Some people said that it was a huge calamity that turned out to be like this. There were also legends that this was a heavenly ship that flew here from another plane because it was left behind from the killing of a Dragon Clan expert. There are many versions of the legend. However, no one knew which one it was. Even the clan elders of Tongtian Hall of Immortals were also not clear about it. Wow! The city gates are all over 100 meters wide. It's too big. Xiao Ying was excited. Long Fei was the same. He had never seen any of the famous historical sites in his previous life, he could only see them in pictures on his computer. But he was sure that the famous historical sites in his previous life were trash existences compared to this God Emperor City. Many people had the same expression as them. However, they were all able to maintain their calm and control their emotions, but Long Fei and the others were so agitated that they provoked a lot of people around them who were looking down on them. Country bumpkin. Where did this native come from? Farmers. He looks like someone who's never seen the world before. What kind of person is this? Long Fei turned a deaf ear. Man Tuoluo's expression slightly changed, and pulled Xiao Ying back. Hurry up and go. Xiao Ying still wanted to hug the big lion at the city gate and kiss it, but he was dragged away before he could kiss it. Ha ha ha. In the distance, there were two beauties standing beside a fat man. They were very flirtatious, wearing sexy clothes and revealing clothing. They could be considered high-rank women. However, the only bad thing about them was that they had too much rouge on their faces. Her eyes were filled with disdain. Chen Tianfei stood at the city gate and laughed loudly as he watched Long Fei and the other two slowly walk in. He had finally arrived. A girl on the left asked, "Master Chen, who are you waiting for?" The lady on the right said, "How precious is young Master Chen's identity. The person who made him stand out personally to welcome you must be a customer." "You're right. Esteemed guest, please take good care of me later." Chen Tianfei touched the buttocks of a lady who pouted and said, "Die." Ha ha ha. At this moment, Long Fei also noticed Chen Tianfei, and thought, looks like his problem has been resolved. If that was the case, how could he have the mind to wait for him here? Chen Duo? Xiao Ying could not hold back his laughter. Thinking of the 3 words Chen Tai Shuang, Man Tuoluo couldn't help but laugh. Long Fei walked in front of Fatty Chen. Without waiting for him to speak, a woman beside Fatty Chen glanced at him and said with disdain, "Where did this beggar come from? His body reeked, scram, rolling away." Another girl also said, "Earth leopard." From the looks of it, they knew that it was their first time entering God Emperor City, Chen-ph. Long Fei laughed awkwardly. While they were talking, Chen Tianfei had a smile on his face as he released the 2 of them. Then, he walked forward a few steps and stood beside Long Fei. The 2 girls chattered, "Young Master Chen, what do you want to play now?" The sound was so soft that it could break a person's bones. Used to be. But now. The moment the 2 of them walked in front of Chen Tianfei, pa, 2 palms slapped down mercilessly. "Smelly. This is my benefactor, and this is my boss. Your 2 bitches dare to talk to my boss like this. Are they tired of living?" His rage instantly reached a height of 30,000 meters. Without any hesitation, he slapped them both to the ground. Half of their faces were swollen like a pig's head, and blood was trickling from the corner of their mouths. At the same time, Chen Tianfei shouted, "Someone come." 2 plainclothed guards swiftly walked over and said, "Young master." Chen Tianfei said angrily, "I don't want to see the 2 of them in God Emperor City. Drag them to the moat to feed the fishes." "Yes, sir." The 2 of them each carried one of them and left the city. The 2 ladies shouted loudly, "Young Master Chen, please spare our lives. Please spare my life." What is a popinjay? What did it mean to be tyrannical? This is it. Chen Tianfei's face was filled with anger, and said, "You speak to my benefactor like that, and you want me to spare your life? Just eat shit." He said to Long Fei, "Boss, don't mind me, I'll find 2 tactful girls tonight. These 2 girls are blind." Long Fei glanced at the 2 of them, and said slightly, "Fatty, teaching them a lesson is fine, after all, it's also life." With just the 2 of them, Long Fei didn't feel sympathy towards them, he just felt that there was no need to do such a thing. However, Long Fei once again experienced the domineering aura of a silk pants like Chen Tianfei. It was obvious that his background was not ordinary. A popinjay needed capital. Not everyone could be a popinjay. Chen Tianfei snapped his fingers and said, "Please spare their lives, but I don't want to see them in God Emperor City, and tell them to never enter there, otherwise, kill them." And then, Chen Tianfei bowed as he said to Long Fei, "Boss, you've saved me twice. I've already made arrangements for the rest of the journey. The best restaurant, the best dishes. The best woman in God Emperor City. How is it?" Heh. Long Fei did not speak, but Man Tuoluo and Xiao Ying's eyes seemed to be able to kill as they stared at him, staring at him. Staring at Chen Tianfei, Chen Tianfei immediately changed his words. Forget about the best woman, just eat well, play well, drink well, hug me with everything. Right. Didn't you want to participate in the God Emperor Academy's student recruitment test? Our Chen family has people in the God Emperor Academy, and we still have a senior instructor in my house. Do you want me to let you take the assessment in advance? Chen Tianfei said seriously. The Chen clan, the clan of generals. From generation to generation, there had been dozens of generals from the imperial court. These dozens of students who had once been God Emperor Academy's all passed through the many levels of assessment. Thus, there was also a good relationship with the Chen family of God Emperor Academy. Otherwise, Chen Tianfei was at the 8th level of the immortal realm, and also had the fusion of Trash's immortal foundation. Just like that, he broke through the admission limit, but his acceptance rate was slightly different from those absolute talents. He bought it with money. He was either a person whom the examinees had to focus on, or he lacked the ability to take the examination, just like an ordinary student. Of course, one had to have connections to enter even if one had money. Long Fei waved his hand. We will handle the matters regarding the assessment by ourselves. As for the best dishes, lead the way. Right. How is your grandfather? Long Fei casually asked. Chen Tianfei's expression tightened, and said solemnly, unobjective, I came back too late, I'm afraid. Sigh. Let's not talk about this anymore. My mission today is to properly entertain all of you. In the dark, a disciple of the Murong king's manor rushed back to the Murong family's residence. It was the same for a disciple of the Black Shark faction. It was time to retract the net. Chapter 38_8419235696. Murong Fenglei already knew about his return to the God Emperor city. Murong Fenglei already knew about his return to the God Emperor city. However, according to what he knew, Chen Liezhong was already very sick. The Fire Cloud Fairy root could not save him. The 3rd grade Fire Cloud Fairy root was still on Chen Tianfei's body. That was why he didn't attack, because he was waiting for Long Fei. It was all over in one go. Black Shark faction thought so too, and they were even more cunning. They wanted to be the Yellow Sparrow and let the Murong family make the first move. Then, they would come to hunt the cicadas. God Emperor Academy, Vermilion Bird Street. The best restaurant God's Phoenix Pavilion. Young Master Chen is here. The private box has already been prepared for you. Please come in. When a waiter saw Chen Tianfei, he acted as if he had seen his own ancestor and immediately nodded his head and bowed. Chen Tianfei took out a silver note from his bosom. Not bad, reward. Thank you, young Master Chen. The waiter smiled brightly and immediately brought them up to the 3rd floor. Spending money like water. A silver note was at least 100 taels. One had to say, the general's estate was quite wealthy. To be able to buy the qualifications to even enter God Emperor Academy, it could be seen how rich he was. In his words, the Chen family that was poor only had money left. Chen family's martial arts family. Furthermore, these warriors did not think much of the money. Even taking into account the gold notes, 10 million gold was barely enough to buy a lower-tier fairy stones. Chen Tianfei was very generous. However, it was only gold and silver. For mortals, this was enough, but for God Emperor Academy, gold and silver was not even worth mentioning. After going upstairs, without waiting for the waiter to open the door, Chen Tianfei directly pushed open the most expensive box, which was also the biggest box, Vermilion Bird Hall. However, at this moment, a surge of killing intent burst out from the room. Long Fei's mind went cold, and he quickly caught up. Chen Tianfei did not even notice the killing intent in the room. This was his territory, he could do whatever he wanted, there were not many people in God Emperor City he was afraid of. Thus, he was completely unprepared. Why is there someone here? Chen Tianfei was immediately furious. He looked at the 4 people in the room, and one of them was a woman with a veil over her face. Just her eyes alone were enough to shock the world. Chen Tianfei was shocked. He had seen countless girls before. Just by looking at those eyes, he could tell that under the veil was a peerless beauty, immediately. He was about to rush up and start a conversation. A middle-aged man coldly said, "Scram." Chen Tianfei was immediately angered. "Fuck you, F***CKU, you want me to F***K off? I think you're tired of living. Finished." He took out a stack of gold bills and wanted to smash it on the middle-aged man's head. At this moment, Long Fei grabbed him and laughed apologetically. Sorry, my brother got drunk." An aura. A very terrifying aura. Moreover, these people were not from the immortal domain. They were demons from the dark domain, and also, more importantly, the Kunlun mirror was moving. It was shaking violently. There was only one wish for the Kunlun mirror to move. There was a devil inside. Was it a demon powerhouse? Or was he thinking of the devil Dao Owl Saw of the 18th level of hell, millions of years ago? Long Fei was unable to confirm. Furthermore, the Yang Huang ancestor was still fusing with the dragon Salya, so Long Fei didn't want to disturb him. However, Long Fei was certain that as long as Fatty Chen dropped the stack of gold bills, he would die. Long Fei himself might also die. The aura of death surrounded him. This kind of death aura was even stronger than the aura of death that it emitted from the king of hell, Yama Minamaya. What was even more shocking was, the veiled woman had no aura on her, not because she was weak, but because Long Fei was unable to sense the qi on her body. Strong, powerful to the point of being a complete mess. Long Fei dragged Chen Tianfei's huge body outside and said softly, "If you don't want to die, then listen to me." Even though Chen Tianfei was a silk pants, he was clearly aware of when he could be arrogant and when he had to restrain himself. Seeing Long Fei like this, his heart sank. It was only when the door to the Vermilion Bird courtyard was closed that the strong aura of death and oppressive killing intent disappeared. A layer of cold sweat seeped out of Long Fei's back as he heavily gasped for air. "Phew." Man Tuoluo muttered, "What's wrong?" Chen Tianfei also asked, "Boss, who are they?" Long Fei looked at the main door of the Vermilion Bird Hall and said, "An expert, a very, very powerful expert." At least, the auras of the three middle-aged men were not weaker than Yi Yi, but they were emitting an aura similar to that of Tai Hong and the others. The elders of the Heavenly Hall of Immortals were also mediocre. Then these people. Not even that. There were only 5 chairs on the table, but there were only 4 of them. Clearly, there was another person hiding in the dark, a dark place that could not be seen with the naked eye. Even the knives were in the shadows around their necks. These people were either the dark domain's demon experts, or it's the giant owl demon dweller from the breaking through the seal. That kind of feeling was an existence that Long Fei was currently unable to shake. The waiter quickly explained, "Young Master Chen, it's all my fault that I didn't tell you in advance. Their relationship is not ordinary at all. The big boss has personally booked a room for them." "Fuck you. You want to see Lousy become a joke, right?" Chen Tianfei scolded angrily. The waiter immediately said, I don't dare. How could I dare?" Chen Tianfei was too lazy to continue talking with him, quickly lead the way. He was shocked in his heart. Who could get the big boss of God's Phoenix Pavilion to personally book a room? Legend has it that the big boss of the God's Phoenix Pavilion was a peerless beauty. I wonder if it's true. To be able to make the big boss of the God's Phoenix Pavilion reserve a private room, his identity must be extraordinary. However, Chen Tianfei did not sense anything from within the room, but Long Fei could clearly sense any kind of dangerous aura. What exactly was it? "Master, why don't you let me kill him?" In the room, the 5th person walked out of the darkness with a thin dagger in his hand. The dagger shined with a dark green light. The moment Chen Tianfei rushed into the room, his dagger was already at his neck. One more step and he would be dead. However, what he did not understand was that Chen Tianfei did not take another step, but was dragged out. There was no ripple in the veiled young man's eyes as he said faintly, "He's just a mere Chen clan disciple, there's no need to make a move." "It's that kid behind him though." She looked at a middle-aged uncle. The man immediately said, "I'll go check it out immediately." It vanished in an instant. It was as if he had never appeared. The other middle-aged man said, "Just now, he clearly felt the killing intent in the room. It's very strange. His cultivation is only just a holy 6th rank, why can he feel the killing intent from our bodies? Could it be the people from the Tongtian Hall of Immortals? Impossible, there isn't such a young ranker in Tongtian Hall of Immortals. // the girl said slightly. God Emperor City is much stronger than what we have imagined. Before we have our targets set, we can't move them recklessly. Yes, sir. This time. Her target was the Demon Slayer. Kill. Chapter 48_841923563937. Dragon and Tiger Twin Whip. Great nourishment. Dragon and Tiger Twin Whip. Great nourishment. Boss, this is some good stuff. You have to try it more, it's definitely going to be great. I'll make sure to turn you into a dragon and a tiger in one night. Chen Tianfei became excited. This dish was something he had to order, and after he ate it, it would be fragrant for the night. A trial. Long Fei's forehead had 8 black lines running down it. This fatty was simply invincible. About that. Give me 3 more servings. Chen Tianfei said. The waiter immediately said, Young Master Chen, you can't eat too much of this food, otherwise it would be too easy. *CK. Can't I eat it tomorrow? Chen Tianfei started to despise her. The waiter immediately left, saying, I will immediately instruct the kitchen to prepare them. Chen Tianfei sighed, and muttered, I don't know how long the old man will last, but once he leaves, my days will be miserable. I will bring this dish back for him to taste, and at night, I will bring it back for him to enjoy. Phut. Long Fei almost spurted out, do you want an extremely sick person to die early for eating this dish? Chen Tianfei's expression was slightly downcast as he said, the old man is currently suffering a pain worse than death. I can feel it, rather than continuing to suffer, I might as well. He could not continue. No one knew how sad he was. No one knew how much he wanted to bear this pain in his grandfather's place. The 3-rate fairy vein saved grandfather, and without a word, he rushed towards the fire cloud cave. However, he was still too late. His immortal foundation was already useless, even the pills brought by God Emperor Academy was useless. The poison in his body had already seeped into his marrow and he had no other choice. As Long Fei looked at Chen Tianfei, he couldn't help but think of his own grandfather in that kind of situation. Long Fei looked at Man Tuoluo. Man Tuoluo slightly said, I will only know after I see it. Chen Tianfei said as he gave a wry smile, it's a kind of strange poison. I wonder where this old guy, Murong Fenglei, got this poison from. If the old man really dies, I'll definitely exterminate the Murong family in my lifetime. Sigh. Let's not talk anymore, boss. Today, I'm here to receive the wind for you. Chen Tianfei immediately smiled as her tears fell. Seeing him like this, Long Fei thought in his heart, could the Holy Armor King Kong's mission be here? If he wanted to subdue Holy Armor King Kong, he had to get recognition from the system and complete the quest. Moreover, even if Chen Tianfei called him boss, he wouldn't be like Li Yuanba, who followed him no matter what. He had to complete the mission. Not a single one of the 8 great King Kong could be missing. Long Fei said, after dinner, bring us to your house. Chen Tianfei was overjoyed, and said, my grandfather also wants to see you too, he wants to thank you face to face. At that time, if you like anything, just say it, our Chen family has everything. Is this still a member of the Chen family? Long Fei. Man Tuoluo. Even Xiao Ying could not help but scold, what a wastrel. All right. Chen Liezhong is no longer saved. The 3-rate fairy vein is still on Fatty Chen, that pig. This time, we must snatch it away and prepare for Tiana. Murong Fenglei became excited. It was time for the general's estate to fall. Murong Xiu asked, Big brother, I heard that pig Chen Tianfei has already obtained the qualifications to be accepted into God Emperor Academy, would that be possible? That pig of his. Humph. I already sent people to investigate, and spent a total of 30 fairy stones to buy their qualifications. Do you really think that he has the qualification to pass the examination? Murong Fenglei said in disdain, also. His qualification has yet to be confirmed. If old man Chen were to die, his qualification would definitely be taken away by the Chen clan. At that time, he would just be a dead pig. Get someone to do it. Should I inform the killers in Black Shark faction? Murong Fonglei frowned, and said, there's no need to inform them, these despicable people from Black Shark faction cannot be trusted. So what if you blatantly offend the general's manner? He was ready to throw caution to the wind. Moreover, with Chen Liezhong's death, the general's estate lost all power. The disciples of the Murong family rushed to the god's phoenix pavilion. All right. The time has finally come. We definitely cannot let them off this time. We must obtain the 3-rate fairy vein. The value of a 3-rate fairy vein on the black market was 3,000 fairy stones. Even a first-rate aristocrat would not be able to make that much money in his 10 lifetimes. If he could do well with this vote, Black Shark faction would not have to worry about him for the rest of his life. Let's wait for the Murong family's men to make the first move, then we'll have our first kill, ha ha ha. The tiger shark was incomparably excited, as if the 3-rate fairy vein was already placed in front of him. 10 minutes later, the disciples of the Murong family were the first to arrive at God's Phoenix Pavilion. At this moment, Vermilion Bird Hall. A middle-aged man said, Master, the people from the Murong family have arrived. His senses were almost invincible. Outside of God's Phoenix Pavilion, he could already feel the auras of the disciples from the Murong family. The veiled girl said calmly, Murong King's manner? The man continued, it might be because of that fatty. The figure of Long Fei immediately appeared in the veiled girl's mind. Long Fei gave her a very special feeling. Very extraordinary. At this moment, the middle-aged man continued, the people from Black Shark faction are here too. It seems like this fatty has something good on him. The veiled girl said, let's sit for a while and see if this show is good. About that. Notify them that this will be a good show. The veiled lady smiled. How long can the holy 6th rank last for? He didn't know why. She was kind of looking forward to the show starting soon. Elder, they are in the Dragon Tiger Hall. The corner of Murong Xiu's mouth curled up as he coldly laughed, and said, Kid, let's see where else you can escape to this time. Defend the entire building for me. Everyone else, follow me. Head, the people from the Murong family are up. All right. The Dragon Tiger Hall only has a single window, so they can only jump down. The others don't care, they just want to catch that fatty first. As for that kid, we'll kill him immediately. Yes, sir. The two groups of people waited. They had already tightly surrounded the God's Phoenix Pavilion, trapping them like an inescapable trap. Suddenly, a strand of idea entered Long Fei's mind. Long Fei's expression changed. He was very clear who this idea was from, the voices of the demon experts. Immediately, Long Fei slightly said, we are surrounded. Baidu search. Half afloat Chen Tianfei's face sank, and said, what do we do? They must be here for the 3-rate fairy vein. Man Tuoluo looked at Long Fei. Xiao Ying also looked at Long Fei. I was just worrying about how to level up. The corner of Long Fei's mouth hooked up as he let out a cold laugh. Raising his wine cup, he drained it in one gulp, and said, one word, kill. Chapter 5. Thank you, Lust Hui Tai Lang, for your 50-month ticket attack. 8_841923566938. When the word kill fell. When the word kill fell. With a kick, the door to the room of the Dragon Tiger room flew open. 2 disciples of the Murong family came in. At that moment, the system beeped. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for coming across the 5-murder quest. Quest, 5 kills, time waited no more than 3 seconds, time failed after 3 seconds, quest failure resulted in punishment, experience points reduced by 10,000 points. Level, a reward, 5 kills, after completing, will receive 3 times the experience points reward, and will also receive a grand drawing of immortal rank. Notification, a total of 3 chances, completion of 3 5 kills will result in a special reward. When the system beep landed, Long Fei was a little confused. Fuck, a task that can still be punished? What the heck is going on? The time interval can't be more than 3 seconds. 3 seconds is considered a failure. By completing the 5th kill, one will receive 3 times the reward of experience points. Huff. He's trying to force me. Long Fei let out a long sigh in his heart. Ding. Except, Long Fei only had the holy 6th rank now, so he could not use the power of the ancestor. He was still refining the fusion dragon Salya, nor could he use the power of the giant demon. Because this was the God Emperor city, once the giant demons were summoned, it would definitely cause a huge commotion. As a result, Long Fei was surrounded and killed by the powerful experts of the Heavenly Hall of Immortals. Thus, he could only rely on his own strength to complete the mission. Chen Tianfei frowned. Murong Fenglei, you son of a bitch, you want to start a war against my general's estate? Sure. I'll take it. Chen Tianfei was furious. The qi on his body became stronger, although the upper echelons of the Chen family warned him repeatedly that he could not do anything, but he couldn't help it now. Xiao Ying looked at Long Fei, both of his arms thinking wildly. The power of the violent immortal root started to surge, waiting for Long Fei's command. Man Tuoluo had a poison pill between his fingers. That's them. Kill them all. The disciples of the Mu Rong family rushed into the room with mountain-splitting knife in their hands, all of them rushing towards Xiong Long Fei. Kid, you're dead for sure. If you don't look at who we are, the outcome of meddling in others' business is death. All of them were incomparably savage and cruel. Long Fei muttered, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 people is enough. And then, Long Fei shouted in his heart, infinite sword. Thunder dragon rod. The dragon Salya was still in fusion, and the Xian Ming sword was still on Li Yuanba's body. The only weapon left on Long Fei's body were the thunder dragon rod. Using a staff in place of a sword. When the thunder dragon rod appeared, Long Fei's body had already explosively shot out. The thunder dragon rod was covered with lightning. Long Fei raised the sword intent of the infinite sword to the peak as the sword intent weaved together with the lightning. Kill. The staff smashed down. The chest of one of the Mu Rong family disciples exploded. The powerful sword intent directly cut off his heart meridian and spurted out blood. He was forced to retreat and hit the doorstep. Death. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining first kill. There were only 3 seconds left. Long Fei did not have any chance to stay. Looking at the 2 blades, he did not have any defense, and rushed forward once again. Shua. A bloody wound appeared on his chest. Long Fei did not let out any screams nor crease his eyebrows. The thunder dragon rod trembled. Die. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining second kill. After finishing his attack, Long Fei's figure turned and landed in front of the person who cut him. You want to kill this daddy? You don't F*** king qualify. Lightning dragon sword will. Roar. The thunder dragon rod charged straight into the man's face. 9 lightning dragons rushed into his body from his mouth, releasing bursts of howls, and his internal organs were completely destroyed. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining triple murder. Almost 1 per second. However, seeing that Long Fei was so powerful, the other 2 people in the private room felt a chill in their hearts, and they continuously retreated backwards. Time. Only 3 seconds. If the mission failed, experience points would be deducted. Long Fei's holy 6th rank did not even have any experience in 100,000 points, so if he wanted to deduct it, wouldn't he have to drop a level? F***ck your grandpa. Long Fei had the impulse to be driven mad. Fatty Chen. Chen Tianfei shouted. Understood. Boom, boom, boom. The floor was almost shaken by his 250 jin body weight. He blocked the door and firmly blocked it. There was no gap at all. The 2 disciples of the Mu Rong family shouted for help. Elder, save me. Save us. Quickly save us. Not waiting for them to finish. Long Fei had already arrived. Didn't you say that I am dead meat? Who the F***k is going to die now? As soon as he finished, the thunder dragon rod swept out and swept a disciple away. With a heavy blow, he died on the spot. The other person also swiftly got rid of him. Long Fei did not dare to linger at all. When he thought of how he could deduct the punishment from experience points, he became incomparably miserable. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining 4 strikes. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining 5 kills. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for completing the 5 murder quests. Rewards, 50,000 experience points, once. Would you like to start the Celestial Lottery system? F*CK. I'm going crazy. Let's see what our luck is right now. Long Fei shouted in his heart, activate. And then, a giant spinning wheel appeared in his mind. It started spinning rapidly, and after a few seconds, it started spinning again. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Orchid Blade. Long Fei. He was suddenly speechless. It was like being struck by lightning. Item, Doran's Blade rank, level 1 Immortal War device description, contains a blood-sucking function. Long Fei was still speechless, he couldn't say a single word. Man Tuoluo looked at the dumbstruck Long Fei and said, "What's wrong?" Xiao Ying also asked anxiously, "Are your chest injuries serious?" Chen Tianfei also asked, "Boss, don't scare us like that." Long Fei waved his hand and said, "Don't worry, I'm just feeling a little liver pain." The 3 of them were stunned at the same time. Liver pain? Why does it hurt? Yeah, what happened to your liver? Long Fei didn't know how to explain, and he didn't want to explain either, because... System, can you be any more darned? It wasn't easy for Laozi to get a prize for this immortal product. Give Laozi a Duolan blade, if you have the guts. Give me your infinity sword, if you have the guts, then give me a blood-drinking sword. Duoluan's blade, your sister. It was extremely painful. Even the lowest grade item was taken out by him. How unlucky was he? However, this wasn't even the lowest level. Baidu sister-in-law AA half. Floating life strongest upgrade system. He would be even more speechless if he got a hunter's broadsword. Alright. I will endure it. There are still 2 more chances. Master system, you will give me a bunch of infinity sword, right? Long Fei was spirited again, and immediately said to Chen Tianfei, "Fatty, get out of the way, we're going to kill." Chapter 18_841923566939. Murong Xiu thought that Long Fei and the other 2 would jump down from the window. However, they didn't, and the 5 disciples of the Murong family had all died in the private room. This was something he had never expected. However, since they had already started fighting, they would not give up until they had achieved their goal. Everyone attack. Footsteps could be heard in the corridor as they crazily rushed up to the 3rd floor. The customers in the God's Phoenix Pavilion were all running away in fear. They did not dare to stay any longer. Only the Vermilion Bird Courtyard's private room door was still closed and there was no response. Interesting. The sword intent is not bad. Indeed, I've never encountered this kind of sword intent before. It seems like this kid is much stronger than we imagined. A few middle-aged men discussed. The veiled girl smiled and said, "That would be interesting. Maybe. Our purpose in coming to God Emperor City will be accomplished soon." A man's face sank. "Master, are you saying that he is Slaughterer, demon?" Her voice was trembling. The word Demon Slayer had been crushing his heart. The veiled girl flashed a sharp gaze and said coldly, "In the Sky Martial continent, anyone can become a Demon Slayer. He is very special, maybe. It really is the Demon Slayer we are looking for. Then what are we waiting for?" The veiled girl replied, "There's no rush. If he's finished with the show and if he's dead then we don't have to do anything. If he's not dead then." The veiled young girl's gaze turned cold as a cold killing intent flashed within. The men immediately nodded. Understood. In another place. A girl, to be exact, a woman should be more suitable. Her eyes glistened with tears. Very excited. At the same time, his eyes were filled with worry and fear. She was the big boss of God's Phoenix Pavilion. She was the young master of the Fu clan of the Fengyuan Merchant Union, Fu Shishan. The moment Long Fei entered the God's Phoenix Pavilion, she was completely dumbstruck. It had been almost 4 years since she had last met Long Fei. She was happy because Long Fei had the strength to enter the immortal domain. However, when she saw the people from the Murong King's manor and the Black Shark faction appear, she was once again worried for Long Fei. At this moment, one of the maidservants asked in a low voice, "Big boss, should we send someone to stop him? The Murong King's manner is too savage. They actually dare to cause trouble in our god's Phoenix Pavilion. They don't even put our Fengyuan Merchant Union in their eyes." Fu Shishan's mind raced as he said, "Immediately send someone to the Chen family. It would be best if they could see the Chen family's old patriarch, old General Chen Liezhong, and have him bring the Chen family's army to suppress them. Speak. His darling grandson is going to be killed by the people from the Murong King's manor." The maidservant was stunned. "Big boss, why did you inform the Chen family? You can go when I tell you, understand? There were too many people in the Murong King's manor, and there were even the deaths of Black Shark factioness, and the others were simply unable to withstand the pressure and needed the Chen family's army to suppress them." The servant girl immediately lowered her head and said, yes, she wondered. Why did the big boss suddenly become like this? She had never seen such an expression on her face before. Wait. Fu Shishan felt that it was still not safe, and said, "First inform Uncle Feng and Uncle Lei, let them go to the Chen family together, and protect the four of them in the dark." Huh. The maid was stunned. Uncle Feng, who is Uncle Lei? That was a raging immortal peak realm level expert. He wanted them to come out and protect him? This. Fu Shishan's gaze tensed up, and he said, "If I told you to go, then go, don't waste my breath, and in addition, Uncle Feng, if Uncle Lei asks, just say that it's my order." The servant girl did not dare to stay and quickly left. Fu Shishan's tears fell. She gave a shallow smile and muttered, "I won't let anyone bully you. If anyone dares to bully you, I'll annihilate them." The current Fu Shishan was no longer the Fu Shishan from 4 years ago. Currently, she was a person with absolute power in the Fengyuan Merchant Union. Moreover, for Long Fei to be able to come to immortal domain within 4 years, it was enough to prove her insight. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for completing the 5 killing quests. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining 80,000 experience, the free celestial item draw once. Do you want to start? Long Fei roared in his heart, activate. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Long Sword. Long Fei, F***CK your grandpa, King tricked me until I die, Long Sword, your sister, do you want me to pull out a few more long swords to synthesize equipment? Can you be any more darned? Woo woo. Long Fei was crying because of the system. Fighting with everything he had, 5 kills would reward him with a long sword. Even if he had the head of a 5 kills player in the game, 1,300 was still enough to buy a Windstorm greatsword. Was there a need to be such a scam? Young Master Long, why are you crying? Boss, what's the situation? Young Master Long, what's wrong? Tell us. I'm fine. It's just that the pain is extremely intense, as though it's about to tear apart at any moment. Long Fei was bitter, but he could not say anything. He was suffering so much, and for Wu Shou's sake, he had suffered so many losses. There were knife wounds on his chest and back, and blood was flowing from them. However, he didn't care, he just kept thinking about the Infinity Sword, but the greater the hope, the greater the disappointment. More importantly, he could not resist. Once the 5th kill was activated, he had no choice but to kill it, because once the time interval was passed, the mission would fail and his 100,000 points would be deducted. Life is strong, you, don't be afraid, don't panic, lie down on the ground and let him turn it 17 or 18 times, you will find, so that is all. It was even a little refreshing. This was exactly what Long Fei was feeling right now. He no longer held any hope, he only hoped to finish the mission as soon as possible. As for the free lottery draw, he would F***CK off. Continue. Long Fei held the orchid blade in his hand and walked down the stairs step by step. Murong Xiu's expression was extremely ugly. How can a mere holy 6th rank be so strong? Logically speaking, a level 7 immortal disciple should be able to completely crush Long Fei, but he, a level 8 immortal disciple, was killed in 2 consecutive waves. Long Fei was only slightly injured. Why is that? Murong Xiu immediately ordered, put them down. The corridors are too narrow, we cannot bring out the advantages in numbers. Put them down, and then. The disciples of the Mu-Rong family quickly retreated, directly releasing Long Fei out of God's Phoenix pavilion on the streets. Dozens of people surrounded him. Mu-Rong Xiu shouted coldly, "Brat, it's more urgent for you to kneel down and accept your death, if not." Not waiting for him to finish. Long Fei's stomach was filled with burning desire. "Otherwise, your grandpa. Let's do it." Chapter 28_841923566940. He was extremely depressed. He was extremely depressed. Doran's blade, followed by a long sword. Long Fei's heart was full of fire, and this fire could only be let out in one way or another. Berserk kill. Right now, he just wanted to complete the final mission. Nothing else. However, facing such a large amount of Mu-Rong family's experience, it was hard for Long Fei and the rest to be his match. Chen Tianfei stared at Mu-Rong Xiu and said, "Mu-Rong Xiu, you want to start a war with my general's estate, right?" Mu-Rong Xiu sneered, "Damn fat pig, you're only clear now? Hand over the 3-rate fairy vein obediently and I will spare your lives." He had to get the 3-rate fairy vein. This might be the reason why the Mu-Rong family's fate was changed. The reason why Mu-Rong Tian was able to soar into the heavens and reach the immortal foundation of a demon slayer was also why the Mu-Rong family took the risk. If they failed, the Mu-Rong family would face the suppression from the royal family. If they succeeded, everyone knew the logic of having the victor as king. Even the Li dynasty didn't dare to do anything to them. The 3-rate fairy vein, right? Chen Tianfei took it out from the space ring. "This is the fire cloud fairy root. You want it? Sure. Call me father, and I will give it to you," Chen Tianfei said in a domineering manner. Mu-Rong Xiu stared at the fire cloud fairy root with green light in his eyes. He was extremely excited, and the other disciples were the same. The value of the 3-rate fairy vein was 3,000 fairy stones, which was money the Mu-Rong king residents would never be able to earn in their entire lives. Now it was right in front of him. Mu-Rong Xiu said excitedly, "As expected, it's in your hands. Since it's like this." "Heh heh." Mu-Rong Xiu laughed sinisterly, and said, "Then prepare to die." Chen Tianfei's gaze darkened, and he said, "I'm preparing to die." The idea moved. He placed the 3-rate fairy vein back into the space ring and dripped a drop of his blood essence onto it. Then, he sneered, "Imprint of death. No one can open this space ring without me. Mu-Rong Xiu, didn't you want to kill me? Come on, come on, come on, if you have the guts, you can King kill this daddy here." Chen Tianfei walked down with incomparable arrogance. Don't look at how the fatty was always acting like a playboy with a naughty personality. However, his IQ decided not to be below 180. Mu-Rong Xiu's face became gloomy. "Imprint of death, fatty pig, you. This way." Then he wouldn't be able to take out the fire cloud fairy root. It could only be done through Chen Tianfei. Chen Tianfei laughed coldly. "Mu-Rong Xiu, you want to kill this daddy? Why don't you try and kill him now?" Mu-Rong Xiu said solemnly, "Chen Tianfei, what do you want?" Chen Tianfei said, "My request is simple. Let my friends leave. Once they leave, I will give the fire cloud fairy root to you." He knew very well he would not be able to leave today. Even if the Mu-Rong family could not obtain the fire cloud fairy root, they did not think that the Chen family could obtain it. He was going all out. Long Fei saved him twice, so they couldn't harm Long Fei again. Xiao Ying could not help but ask, "Aren't you a student that was taken in by the God Emperor Academy? Who dares to touch you? Breaking the record? Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. I'm done laughing." Mu-Rong Xiu laughed out loud, and said, "Even a damn fat pig like him wants to make an exception." His qualification was bought by his grandfather with 30 fairy stones. Him? If you go back and train in your mother's womb for another 10,000 years, you probably won't be qualified, ha ha ha. Mu-Rong Xiu laughed at him loudly. The rest of the Mu-Rong family's disciples also started laughing out loud. Mu-Rong Xiu laughed. "Moreover, that qualifications to be accepted by you is probably not yours even if your grandfather were to die, right? Right now, you only have the fire cloud fairy root in your hands. You fat pig, you better do as you say, otherwise, I will make you feel worse than death. Murong Xiu's gaze darkened, and he shouted, "Let the three of them go." He had no other way. They could only agree to Chen Tianfei's request. As for Long Fei, he will take care of him later. Chen Tianfei turned around and chuckled at Long Fei, then said, "Boss, I've disappointed you." It's just as he said, my right to be accepted was bought with money. If my grandfather leaves, my qualification will be cancelled by the Chen family's elders. He he. Chen Tianfei was laughing, but the inside of his smile was incomparably painful, and he was blaming himself in his heart, as he roared, Why? Why did I fuse with a piece of trash immortal root? Why? Then why did the Immortal Foundation choose me? Why is that? If it's attacking the Immortal Foundation, if it's something else, I won't become like this. His heart was in extreme pain. When the Chen family was offering sacrifices to the heavens, he was suddenly enveloped by a ray of light, not giving him any chance to resist. A strand of Immortal Foundation descended from the sky, directly fusing into his body without giving him any chance to choose. These years passed. His weight shot up. His cultivation did not improve at all over these years, to the point that he gave up cultivating and became a popinjay in God Emperor City. All these years, his grandfather had always been protecting him, and now, he really hated himself. If he was a little stronger, what would the Murong family matter? This was the biggest pain in his heart. His natural Immortal Foundation was very powerful. However, there was another type of Immortal Foundation that was even stronger than natural immortal roots. That was the Heaven's Volition Immortal Root. This kind of immortal root had never been born before, so Chen Tianfei was the first to do so. It was a kind of holy armor fairy vein, with heaven-defying defense. However, his powers had yet to awaken. Long Fei walked down the steps and looked at Chen Tianfei with a bland smile. From the moment you called me boss, you were already my, Long Fei's, brother. The style of Long Fei, is this. I will never abandon my brother. The Murong mansion, right? Long Fei walked forward as he pointed the orchid's blade in his hand at Murong Xiu. The corners of his mouth curled up as he sneered, "Come if you dare." Chen Tianfei was startled. "Boss." Long Fei laughed. "Do you think you're useless? You're wrong. Your power is much more terrifying than you imagined it to be, because you are invincible." Long Fei did not want to say too much. Chen Tianfei needed his own strength to awaken, not Long Fei's help. He couldn't tell Chen Tianfei that he was invincible in defense. To grow up, he had to rely on himself. Chen Tianfei's gaze tightened, as his heart was incomparably moved. At this moment, Man Tuoluo also walked down. Xiao Ying also walked down. Chen Tianfei stood in a row with Long Fei and the others, leaving a spot between them. Chen Tianfei clenched his fists tightly, and walked up to them. The four of them stood in a row. Murong Xiu's lips curled up as he stared at Long Fei and sneered, and said, "These days, there are always some people who are conceited and like to die, right? All right. Then I'll grant you your wish. Archers, get ready, whoosh whoosh whoosh, asterisk suddenly. In the buildings near the God's Phoenix Pavilion, over 100 crossbowmen suddenly stood up. They all pulled on their bows and aimed at Long Fei and the other three. Chapter 38_841923569141. This was Murong Xiu's trump card. This was Murong Xiu's trump card. It was also the most powerful attack. There were 100 crossbow archers, and all of them were 8th level immortal ranked peak realms. Together with the black feathered arrows made by the Murong family, their fighting capabilities were extremely formidable. Murong Xiu laughed proudly, arrogant, almost looking to die. In a desperate situation, Long Fei and the other three had no chance of winning at all. Just the 100 crossbows alone were enough to turn their bodies into a sieve. Murong Xiu stared at Chen Tianfei and said, "I'll give you one last chance." Not waiting for him to finish, Long Fei roared in his heart, "4th level, peerless, teleport. I'll give it to your 8th ancestor." Long Fei unleashed 16-fold of his elemental energy, causing the aura on his body to change abruptly. It directly locked onto Murong Xiu's throat. "If you don't want to, Then do it. So be it. Threatening him? He could not threaten his brother. Murongxiu's face sank. You're courting death. With both hands in a blur, both blades in hand, he did not wait for Long Fei's sword to pierce him. He followed suit and rushed out as well. The spiritual level's chi roared out. Clang. Flames flew in all directions. Bam! Murongxiu slashed twice. Long Fei leaped, but it was just that. Without waiting for Long Fei to land, Murongxiu's fists had already stopped. Just based on strength alone, the spiritual level was more than 10,000 times stronger than someone in the immortal realm. Long Fei was not a match for him at all. His chest caved in and he spat out a mouthful of blood before retreating. His face turned pale. Murongxiu sneered, "A trash like you dares to meddle in other people's business? You overestimate yourself." It was extremely disdainful. The holy sixth rank was too weak. At the same time, Murongxiu's voice sank. He waved his hand and said, "Capture all of them. If anyone dares to resist, other than that fat pig, kill." Ha! More than a dozen disciples of the Murong family rushed forward with big sabers in their hands. Man Tuoluo's brows moved, and said to Xiao Ying, "Protect young Master Long well." And then, a pill about the size of a fist appeared in her hand. Poison pill. However, without waiting for her to release the poison pill, Long Fei once again leaped out, and roared in his heart, "Let's see who has overestimated himself." Shua. The blades of Dolan pierced through the throat of a disciple. At this moment, his body moved, and he rushed out from behind the disciple with the Duolan blade. The lightning thrust stabbed into the other disciple's head, and he shouted out in excitement, "Second kill." He was like a madman. Last 5 kills. One last chance. He wanted 3 times the experience that would allow him to break through into the 7th level of the immortal realm. Increasing his strength by 1 level would allow his strength to increase by quite a bit. He had to level up. When Murongxiu saw Long Fei rush towards him again, he was also enraged at the center of his brows and coldly said, "You ignorant fool, this old man will cripple you today." As soon as he finished, Murongxiu rushed out. At this moment, crash! A figure landed, and the aura exploding out from his body directly sent Murongxiu flying. Fart! Murongxiu spat out a mouthful of blood, his eyes were filled with anger, and spoke with incomparable arrogance. "Who dares to meddle in the affairs of the Murong prince's mansion? Are you tired of living?" An old man. An old man around the age of 60. Her body was naked, in her hand was a smoke stick, her eyes gently raised up to look at Murongxiu, and she said, You cannot move." It was a cold sentence. Smoke thunder. It was also the Uncle Lei that Fu Shishan spoke of. Murongxiu's mind tensed up. He did not know who the old man was, but he understood. He could clearly feel the strange effect that was being emitted from the old man's body, the aura of the arrogant immortal state. Very powerful. Murongxiu said lightly, "It's best for you to not interfere in the Murong king's mansion's matters, if not." The smoke thunder's eyes narrowed, and said, "Otherwise what?" Murongxiu yelled, "Otherwise, I will kill you too." Bows and crossbows. At this moment, Long Fei did not stop for even a moment. He kept on killing and the system kept on ringing out its beeps. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining triple murder. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining 4 strikes. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining 5 kills. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for completing the 5 murder quest. You have gained 150,000 experience. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the system's mysterious reward. Do you want to start? Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Currently at the 7th level of the immortal realm. Activate. A mysterious package box appeared in Long Fei's mind, but he did not open it in a hurry. He had leveled up. He felt great, but he did not have any hopes of winning the prizes. At that moment, however, the system sounded out. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Infinity Sword. Weapon, Infinity Sword grade. Attack, 6,500 points. Critical hit. Description. The age limit of Infinity Sword is 10 seconds. The time limit is over and the Infinity Sword has disappeared. Infinity Sword. An attack of 6,500 points. A 100% critical hit. I'm F** king fucked. This is the tempo of overturning the sun. But what the hell is a time limit of 10 seconds? Isn't it permanent? Long Fei was stunned, her heart was trembling, her happiness had come too suddenly, and she was unable to accept it. Furthermore, when he thought he was very happy, he immediately fell into the abyss of hell. 10 seconds. What can this do? It's about the same. Long Fei once again paid his respects to the 18 generations of ancestors of the system in his heart. At the same time, his gaze tensed up as he walked over, stared at Murong Xiu and shouted, "Wait." Long Fei said to the smoke thunder, "Thank you, senior, for saving me. However, leave this guy to me." And then, Long Fei's gaze turned cold as he stared at Murong Xiu. "Old fellow, do you dare to duel with me?" As soon as his voice faded, everyone looked at Long Fei. Even the smoke thunder looked at Long Fei in shock. The first thought in his mind was, this kid's brain has been bitten by a dog. Xiao Ying immediately rushed forward and said, "Young Master Long, you're not his match." Chen Tianfei was anxious too. "He is at the 8th stage of the spirit immortal realm, you can't beat him." Murong Xiu laughed coldly. "You want to duel with me? This holy 6th rank of yours? Hey! You suddenly broke through. Ch. So what if you're a 7th grade immortal? You don't even have the qualifications to fight me one-on-one." Long Fei said to Chen Tianfei, "Take out the fire cloud fairy route." Chen Tianfei was startled, and followed suit. Long Fei said, "If you defeat me, the fire cloud fairy route will be yours." Murong Xiu was stunned. Did this man have shit in his mouth? Looking at the corner of Long Fei's mouth, he said, "I have to say, this brat is very arrogant. I accept your challenge." Long Fei smiled slightly. At the same time, Baidu search, half afloat. Long Fei said to Chen Tianfei, "Protect the two of them, remember, once Murong Xiu dies, those crossbow wielders will immediately shoot out arrows. We must protect the two of them well." Chen Tianfei was dumbstruck. Murong Xiu would die later? Chapter 48_8419235692. He was a bit confused. He was so confused that he didn't know how to react. Murong Xiu will die? How is that possible? Someone at the 8th level of the psionic immortal realm versus a 7th level of the psionic immortal realm would die? A fantasy story? Everyone thought that Long Fei was too arrogant, and was simply courting death. In a private room in the Vermilion Bird courtyard. This kid is too arrogant. How can a 7th grade immortal ranked expert fight against a 8th grade spiritual immortal? A duel? Your brain is pretty much cramping. I really don't know what qualifications he has to say the word duel. They all thought that Long Fei was courting death. The veiled girl lied down on the window, looking at Long Fei below her with a misty gaze. She smiled lightly, and said, "I think he will win." As soon as his voice faded, the other three were stunned. At the same time, a man stood up and said, "Master, if he can win, then this person is just too abnormal. There really is a possibility that he's a demon slayer. Should we make a move on him?" The veiled girl replied, "No rush." "Yes, sir." The man sat back down. Black Shark Faction. The Tiger Shark used the voice transmission technique to say, "When this guy dies, immediately kill him, catch him off guard." "Yes, sir." This brat. It really is a bunk next to the latrine. It's not too far from death. Fu Shishan was extremely anxious. She even wanted to rush out to stop him, but she knew clearly in her heart that once Long Fei decided on something, even 10 bulls wouldn't be able to pull it back. Solo Murong Xiu? This. Fu Shishan sent a sound transmission to the smoke thunder, and said, "Uncle Lei, no matter what, we cannot let him die. Do you understand?" Dead orders. The smoke thunder frowned, then picked up the smoke stick and smoked a few puffs. This was the first time Fu Shishan gave such an order to him. Even though he was slightly unhappy. However, he was a member of the Fu family and had to obey orders. Murong Xiu's blade moved. He walked over and laughed coldly. Boy, you asked for this yourself. Long Fei looked at Murong Xiu and said faintly, come. At the same time, his gaze looked at the surrounding crossbowmen. Murong Xiu would be easy to deal with, but the words these crossbowmen said. It was a problem. Suddenly, Murong Xiu rushed forward, his two blades transforming into layers of blade images, the pressure of the 8th stage of the spirit immortal realm pressuring forward, brat, die. He was completely domineering in the Tao of the sword. Useless, who had merged with his god's soul herb, could easily withstand the pressure of the spiritual level. It didn't matter if the pressure couldn't crush him, since he could knock Long Fei flying just now, but this time it was the same. The two blades were like scissors that locked onto Xiong Longfei's throat. Long Fei did not move. Time was important to him. A second was important. Young Master Long, boss, is he scared silly? Aren't you going to challenge him so arrogantly? Now you are so scared that you don't dare to move. He looks like trash. Disgraceful. The crowd burst into jeers. Long Fei's arrogance had displeased them, and now that they were standing alone and not moving, they were about to become dead dogs on the ground. Murong Xiu was also extremely excited. This time he wanted to kill Long Fei with one move. Brat, you have to have the ability to be arrogant, even if you want to be arrogant. Too weak. The two blades fell. Xiao Ying was so scared that he did not dare open his eyes. Man Tuoluo was the same, his heart sank as he felt pain. At this moment, Long Fei made a grasping motion with his right hand, Infinity Sword. Buzz. A weapon that was exactly the same as the Infinity Sword in the 101st place appeared on Long Fei's right hand. Gold. Sword gear. A long sword hilt. The only difference was 6,500 points of attack. And 100% critical damage. His right hand clenched heavily, and in that instant, Long Fei shouted in his heart, Infinite Sword. The Sword Saint's limitless sword intent was quickly released. Looking at Murong Xiu, who had a pleased expression on his face, Long Fei said disdainfully, I am arrogant and never need capital. As soon as he finished, the sword stabbed out. Crack. Double knife to the face. Long Fei's body rushed forward, and with an incomparably savage thrust, the attack power of the Infinity Sword in his hands directly destroyed all of Murong Xiu's defenses. Crack. The heart was pierced through. A bright red damage figure floated above Murong Xiu's head, with a critical hit of 5 million points. At this moment, Long Fei lifted Murong Xiu's body up heavily and flew into the air. The power of Celestial in his body started to surge. Buzz. The power of Celestial rushed into the Infinity Sword. Long Fei swept his foot across in midair, and it was as if the power of a full moon had exploded out. Boom, boom, boom. A series of sonic booms sounded in the air. It was impossible to withstand the crushing pressure of this kind of power. Master, be careful. A middle-aged man rushed out and formed a light red halo in front of the veiled girl. The veiled girl did not even blink as she looked at Long Fei, who was in midair. At this time, Long Fei just happened to see her. Under the sword wind, she removed the veil covering her face, revealing a pitilessly beautiful face. There was a gaze that no male animal could resist. At that moment, the heavens and the earth were moved by this. It was too beautiful. With just that one glance, the veiled girl moved her right hand and the veil once again covered her face. Long Fei also did not have any extra time to appreciate them. His long sword swept out, causing 6,500 points of attack damage to explode forth. Bang, 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 bang. The 100 crossbow wielders around him were all instantly killed, blood mist exploding from their bodies as they floated down. Ding, ding, ding. The system beep exploded, causing Long Fei's eardrums to hurt. At this moment, the Infinity Sword in Long Fei's hand fell back down to the ground heavily. Murong Xiu's corpse just happened to fall from the sky and was ruthlessly stepped on by Long Fei. With a savage gaze, he pointed the Infinity Sword in his hand and roared, "Who else? I only have one question. Fuck, who else?" Crushing. It was firmly crushed. It was as if the entire Vermilion Bird Street had been trampled over by Long Fei. Was this person even human? In that moment, even the air shield barrier released by the demon dwellers from the Vermilion Bird courtyard was destroyed. He couldn't react in time. There's not enough brains. Only the veiled lady smiled and muttered the two words, amazing. His life is mine now. It was also at this moment. The veiled girl stood up. The eyes of the middle-aged men behind her all flashed with respect. At this moment, one of the disciples of the Black Shark faction asked, Hall Master, we are still going to attack the Murong family. The tiger shark's eyes darkened, and slapped its face. Go for your mother's hands, you don't even have eyes, all of the Murong family's people are about to die. Equals half carrot float # life carrot Long Fei was too strong. However, suddenly, from afar, their footsteps were like thunder as thousands of troops came crushing down. Patriarch Murong Fenglei is here. Chapter 5, Thank you for your support. 8_841923566943. That strike was too gorgeous. Intrepid. The attack power released by the Infinity Sword was simply peerless. Who could kill Murong Xiu in an instant and kill 100 of the archers? Man Tuoluo was shocked. She was even worried that Long Fei was going to use the giant demon. However, this sword attack was so powerful that no one could block it. Chen Tianfei was even more confused. He looked at Long Fei like he was an idiot. The shock in his heart was rolling. Is this a human? Was this person even human? This is simply a god. Similarly, Long Fei himself was also frightened by the 100% critical rate Infinity Sword. Isn't this endless energy way too sharp? However, before they could recover their strength and return, at the other end of Vermilion Bird Street, Murong Fenglei rode on a 3-meter-tall demon beast and led the Murong family's guards to attack them. The Smoke Thunder looked shocked, and cried out in her heart, crap. He said to Long Fei, brat, hurry up and go. Chen Tianfei also charged forward and cursed, since Murong Fenglei is here, the Murong prince's mansion is truly shameless. Boss, let's hurry and retreat. However, without waiting for them to leave, Murong Fenglei suppressed his voice. None of you should even think of leaving. He had made all the preparations long ago. Now that his little brother had been killed, he had more than 1,000 guards from the Murong family as an excuse. In less than half a minute, they had surrounded the entire God's Phoenix Pavilion. There was another young disciple beside Murong Fenglei, Murong Tian. The genius of the Murong family. The people who truly obtained the qualifications to be accepted by the God Emperor Academy. Murong Fenglei looked at Murong Xiu's body that was lying on the ground, then looked at the space between the eyebrows of the surrounding crossbow wielders, and shouted at Long Fei, you must die today. Anger raged. Murong Fenglei stared deadly at Long Fei. He didn't know how Long Fei had managed to enter the 7th level of the immortal realm, but right now, he only wanted to kill Long Fei. Long Fei was not afraid at all. If they truly provoked him, he did not care about God Emperor City, nor did he care about God Emperor Academy. Thus, Long Fei was still very arrogant, and said, there are a lot of people who say that, but none of them are in this world. They were all killed by me. Arrogant. Extreme. Murong Fenglei's eyes turned sinister. You're courting death. Someone, come. Kill them all. At the same time, Chen Tianfei stepped forward, Man Tuoluo, Xiao Ying stepped forward. The Smoke Thunder hesitated for half a second before stepping forward, and the four of them stood side by side with Long Fei. In front of 1,000 soldiers, they were too weak. Murong Fenglei smirked. With just you people, how could you resist my Murong family's guards? It was at this moment. What about us? Bang, bang, bang. Boom, boom, boom. From all directions, tens of thousands of Chen family soldiers surged out like a tide and instantly surrounded the people from the Murong mansion. They all shouted together, ha! His voice was deafening. The guards from the Murong family were so scared that their legs went soft. Murong Fenglei turned around and looked. You're not dead yet. An 80-year-old spirited old man donned battle armor, holding a steel spear in his hand. He had a spirited look on his face, his body emitted a killing intent from the battlefield, and he shouted out, Murong Fonglei, I'm fine, are you disappointed? Murong Fonglei's face was ice cold. This time, the Murong prince's estate was doomed. However, even if he had to fall, there was one thing he had to do. Murong Fonglei looked at Chen Liezhong and said, General Chen, take away your grandson, but at this point, I must kill him today. The sword moved and pointed at Long Fei. To kill his butler, if he did not avenge his brother, it would be equivalent to Long Fei trampling on the face of the Murong prince's mansion. Chen Tianfei immediately shouted, Grandfather. Chen Liezhong smiled playfully, try killing one of them. If you dare to even move, I will make all of your Murong King's manners people disappear from the God Emperor Academy. I understand. It's all of them. With a gloomy gaze, killing intent burst out from his body. The Chen family army suddenly shuddered, and the encirclement shrunk back, surrounding the Murong family members even more tightly. The Chen family's soldiers were all guards who had fought in the battlefield. They could be said to be experienced warriors who had experienced hundreds of battles and life and death situations. Not to mention their overwhelming advantage in numbers, even if they lost half of their men, they could still easily suppress the Murong mansion. Murong Fonglei's face sank, and shouted, Chen Liezhong, you don't have to mind it too much. Chen Liezhong laughed, I only care so much. Murong Fonglei, if you're capable, bite me, try touching any of them if you dare. You. Murong Fonglei's face tensed up. At this moment, Murong Tian laughed coldly, and said, Father, there is no need to be so hasty, didn't he get accepted by the God Emperor Academy? Oh, right, I forgot, this damn fat pig was bought with money. As for these people, FMPH, they are just trash who came to take the examination, I'm afraid they won't even make it through the first round. Murong Tian's face was filled with disdain. He was a genius student who had broken the rules. He had been chosen by an elder and was heavily nurtured. In his eyes, the people who were going to take the exam were just trash, ants. Murong Tian stared at Long Fei, and said disdainfully, Trash, you want to enter the God Emperor Academy, right? If you have the guts, come in and I'll let you try my tricks. Pig, you too. When I get to God Emperor Academy, I will play you guys to death. I'll enjoy those two beauties. Murong Tian laughed proudly. Before they came, they had already investigated Long Fei thoroughly. The name Long Fei was not on the list for admission. In other words, he was just an ordinary disciple who had come to participate in the God Emperor Academy's assessment. That being the case, then there was no need to worry about anything. Seeing the pleased expression on Murong Tian's face, Long Fei was in a bad mood. Murong Tian continued, Are you unhappy? I feel good. Long Fei's eyes darkened again as he stared at Murong Tian, taking note of his outer appearance, he sneered, You will be straightforward. Murong Tian laughed, Of course, and you will always be very unhappy, and will always be stepped on by me, ha ha ha. This is your fate. Of course. I reckon that you won't even be able to pass the God Emperor Academy examination, ha ha ha. Isn't it? Trash from the South Horizon region. As soon as he finished, everyone was shocked. Even Long Fei's eyes turned sinister as he stared coldly at Murong Tian. He's from the South Horizon region? People from the South Horizon region are qualified to participate in the God Emperor Academy's selection? Isn't the South Horizon region a place of exile and wasteland? For the past 100 years, there hasn't been a single person in the southern domain who entered the God Emperor Academy. Can you do it? Baidu search, half afloat after the calamity that had struck the Long family, the South Horizon region's strength had plummeted. They had now reached the bottom and not a single person had successfully entered the God Emperor Academy in the past 100 years. At this moment, Long Fei was completely unhappy. Chapter 1A Recommendation Book is a friend's book. The strongest training system likes to support it. 8_841923569444. The South Horizon region is the source of Long family. The South Horizon region is the source of Long family. It could be said, the Long family represented the South Horizon region. However, right now, the entire South Horizon region was being stepped on ruthlessly. Everyone was looking at Long Fei as if he were a villager who had just walked out of a mountain village. The South Horizon region is very weak, right? Long Fei's gaze tensed up, and he stared at Murong Tian. Your name is Murong Tian, right? God Emperor Academy must be a genius student that broke the record, right? Murong Tian laughed lightly. That's right, you want to challenge me again? Sorry, you don't even have the qualifications to challenge me, do you understand? Not qualified. Long Fei laughed. Don't worry, I will let you know what qualifications are. Murong Tian sneered, then said to his father, Father, let's go, it's just a 3-rate fairy vein, so you don't need to worry about me. As long as I can enter the top 100 in this competition, Master will reward me with a 3-rate fairy vein. To the God Emperor Academy, the God Emperor City was like an ordinary mortal. There is no point in any struggle. As long as the God Emperor Academy could crush them, no matter how powerful the clans in the mortal world were, they would be stomped on forever. When Murong Tian's words fell, the surrounding people were all shocked. As expected of a genius student who broke the record. Murong Tian's talent is the most outstanding one in the history of the Murong King's manor. He will definitely shine greatly in the competition this time, and he might even become a demon slayer. The influence of the Murong Prince's mansion is truly frightening. On the other hand, in the general's estate, talents are withering away. I had thought that the Chen clan would also produce a genius who broke the record. I didn't think that they would actually buy it. How laughable. The ancestors of the Chen family's dozen or so God Emperor Academies are going to be reduced to buying them today, sigh. The descendants of the Chen clan are really disappointing. The Chen family is all right. After all, he is an important subject of the Divine Emperor Empire and has a powerful force. But look at this wild brat from the South Horizon region. This is simply courting death. People of the South Horizon region. Ha ha ha. It's just like what young Master Mu said, we probably won't even make it through the first round. It's just a joke, ha ha ha. Many people on the street began to discuss with one another. If not for someone mentioning the South Horizon region, very few people in the immortal domain would remember of this place. Of the 5 great regions of the Tianwu continent, the South Horizon region was the weakest. It could be said. Basically, it doesn't exist because it's too weak. In all of these years, God Emperor Academy had never heard of the birth of any powerhouses in the South Horizon region. They were all useless trash. Trash that would be wiped out in a single wave. Murong Tian laughed complacently. Trash, don't disappoint me, you must at least enter the second round, right? Ha ha ha. Father. Let's go. Chen clan. My life won't be long. Murong Tian coldly looked at Chen Liezhong. As long as he stomped the Chen family down to death in God Emperor Academy, the Chen family would not be far from destruction. Very arrogant. He was very proud. Even Chen Liezhong could not do anything about it, because of his identity, as a genius student who had broken the record. Just this fact was enough to crush the Chen family. During this time, if anyone dared to touch these students who had broken the rules, then that person would be going against the entire God Emperor Academy. Not to mention this small general's manor, even the entire Divine Kingdom would be suppressed in an instant. The God Emperor Academy was simply too powerful. Murong Fenglei became excited. He stared at Chen Liezhong and said, Old General Chen, you have to live a few more days. Watching my son trample over the Chen family, that kind of scene must be really wonderful, ha ha ha. Let's go. Murong Fenglei laughed as he left with the Murong guards. Chen Liezhong did not stop them, and there was nothing he could do to stop them. Just as Murong Tian had said, the real competition was between them and the God Emperor Academy. It was also at this time. Phut! Chen Liezhong couldn't hold it in any longer and spat out a mouthful of black blood. Chen Tianfei's eyes became anxious. Grandfather. Many of the Chen family's soldiers also rushed forward. Old General. Long Fei looked at Man Tuoluo, and Man Tuoluo quickly ran up and examined him, his eyebrows sinking as he shook his head lightly at Long Fei. The poison entered his bone marrow and heart meridian. Even with the Da Lu elixir, he would not be able to make it back. Man Tuoluo used her poison skills. If there was a way, she would definitely save him with all her might. Seeing her shake her head, Long Fei's heart also secretly felt pain. Thinking of his grandfather, he thought to himself, "Grandfather, where are you guys now? Are you here at Immortal Domain?" Chen Liezhong spat out a mouthful of blood, his face was as white as paper. He looked at Long Fei, who was not far away, and said, "Brat, follow me back to the Chen family, I have something to tell you." Long Fei did not reject, he nodded and said, "Old master, please, I will follow." And then, Long Fei said to the Smoke Thunder, "Thank you, Senior, for saving me." The Smoke Thunder laughed lightly, "Even if I didn't appear, you still have the ability to deal with everything. I'm a bit excessive instead. Right?" Long Fei asked, "Senior, can you tell me who made you save me?" The Smoke Thunder trembled and was stunned for a moment, then said, "About this, she did not tell me, so I cannot tell her." Long Fei didn't ask any more, but he took a glance at the God's Phoenix Pavilion. He guessed that the God's Phoenix Pavilion's master sent the Smoke Thunder, and the reason why the Chen family's army had come was because he had sent his men. Long Fei said, "Thank you, Senior, and thank you for sending me. I will thank you. If there is anything else, please do not hesitate to tell me, I will do my best. The grace of a drop of water is repaid with a gush of spring water." Long Fei would always remember this favor. He would remember this in his heart. In the dark, Fu Shishan had thought of this several times, but they all held back. Watching Long Fei leave, her tears streamed down her face. "Master, this kid has gone to the general's manor. Should we follow him and find a chance to finish him off?" The veiled girl looked at Long Fei's departing figure and muttered, "I didn't expect that he was someone from the southern domain. If he was called young Master Long by them, could he be someone from the Long family? Interesting, interesting. Heh. And then, the veiled girl turned around and giggled, saying, "You can all go back, just let Uncle Gui follow me." The three middle-aged men were stunned. He asked anxiously, "Master, you're not going back? You will stay here?" The veiled girl turned around and looked at the God Emperor Mountain above the clouds. With a smile, she said, "I want to enter God Emperor Academy." The three of them were astonished. For a moment, he didn't know how to react. "It's too dangerous, Master. Please don't." The veiled girl's gaze shifted, turning icy cold. The middle-aged man immediately lowered his head. The veiled girl said with a smile, "Other than those few old fellows from the Heavenly Hall of Immortals, who else could be my match?" Chapter 28_8419235695. Night. The Chen clan. Night. The Chen clan. Lights were on. Chen Liezhong's room. The current patriarch, Chen Xiaoshan, great clan elder, Chen Yuran, and a few other clan elders were standing in the room. Chen Tianfei knelt on the side of the bed and tightly held his grandfather's hand, trying his best to not let himself cry, because the man of the Chen family was bleeding and could not cry. Long Fei, Man Tuoluo, Xiao Ying were also standing at the side. Chen Liezhong waved at Long Fei, saying, "Child, come over here." Long Fei immediately went forward and squatted by the side of the bed, and asked, "Old Senior, do you have any instructions?" Chen Liezhong grabbed Long Fei's hand and said, "Child, I already know about how you saved Tianfei. This old one thanks you. If there's anything in the Chen clan that you're interested in, just take it, just take it." Great Elder Chen Yuan's brows slightly tightened, and said in a low voice, "Father, he is one of Tianfei's lackey's friends. Why should we be so serious about someone like him?" Chen Liezhong acted as if he did not hear it and continued, "Tianfei's parents died in battle when he was young. It was I who let him down. That year when I sacrificed the heavens to allow him to fuse with that immortal foundation, I was unable to match up to him." As he spoke, Chen Liezhong's tears flowed down. "Grief and pain." Chen Tianfei said, "Grandfather, don't say any more, you will definitely get better. Today, I even brought you the dragon and tiger twin whip soup." Chen Xiaoshan said unhappily, "Tianfei, do you still think that grandfather isn't good enough?" Chen Liezhong smiled faintly and said, "Feia, grandfather has let you down. I can't protect you anymore." And then, he grabbed Long Fei's hand tightly and said, "Young Master Long, can I ask you something?" Long Fei said, "Please speak." Chen Liezhong said, help me take care of Tian Fei. His talent is definitely not mediocre. His talent is definitely not inferior to those geniuses who failed to pass the examinations. A mediocre talent. Bad aptitude. Long Fei really wanted to say that your grandson is a holy armor King Kong and an invincible defender. It's just that he still has his own powers awakened in the inner academy. Seeing this old man act like this, he truly wanted to say it out loud. However, in the end, he did not say it out loud. He nodded heavily and said, Old Gramps, don't worry, only I, Long Fei, am still alive, and I will definitely not let anything happen to him. I, Long Fei, will keep my word. At this time, an elder said in disdain, a trash from the South Horizon region still dares to spout nonsense. If not for my Chen family saving him today, he would probably have been trampled to death by Murong Tian on the street. Man Tuoluo frowned. Xiao Ying was about to go berserk. Chen Liezhong smiled slightly. That's good, that's good, that's good. Feiya, you have to listen to what young Master Long says. Do you understand? Chen Tianfei nodded, and said, Grandfather, I know, I know. Chen Liezhong then said, that's good, then. He closed his eyes and a faint smile appeared on his face. His body slowly stiffened. Grandfather. Chen Tianfei couldn't hold it in any longer, and tears started to roll down her cheeks. She couldn't hold it in any longer. The Chen family's patriarch was the first to kneel on the ground. Immediately after that, all of the Chen family elders fell to their knees, and all the other Chen family disciples in the courtyard also fell to their knees. Long Fei's heart sank. Chen Liezhong was still holding onto his hand tightly. The only person he was worried about was Chen Tianfei, and the only person he was worried about was also him. Long Fei secretly thought, Old Master Chen, please take care. Chen Tianfei will definitely not disappoint you. I, Long Fei, swear to the heavens. Half a day later, Chen Liezhong entered the coffin. Chen Xiaoshan said, we have to convene an emergency meeting. All Chen family disciples come to the ancestral hall. Chen Tianfei, you too. Chen Xiaoshan glanced at Long Fei, and said, you come as well. At the Chen family ancestral hall, Chen Xiaoshan sat on the great hall and said lightly, we must avenge the old man, and the Murong King's manor must pay the price, but... Not waiting for him to finish, Chen Yuran immediately asked, revenge? If you want to take revenge, then you should go to our Chen family's worms, our Chen family's wastrel, and our Chen family's fat pigs. Everyone's eyes turned towards Chen Tianfei. Another elder immediately shouted, Great Elder is right, why would the old man die? It's all because of him. Also, there's only one way to take revenge, enter the God Emperor Academy and stomp Murong Tian down. This is the best way to take revenge. We, the Chen family, have finally obtained the qualifications to be accepted as an exception. We absolutely cannot waste it on a piece of trash, a pig. You're right. I agree. He should have been disqualified long ago. Almost everyone agreed. This was not a family meeting, but a battle meeting with Chen Tianfei. Chen Xiaoshan looked at the silent Chen Tianfei, pressed his hands together, and quieted down the ancestral hall, and said, Chen Tianfei, do you have anything to say? At this moment, Long Fei said lightly, Old Master Chen's corpse has not turned cold yet. It's not good to discuss about breaking the record right now, right? Who do you think you are? What qualifications does a trash from the South Horizon region have to speak here? I didn't ask you to attend the meeting to express your opinion. Boy, you'd better calm down. This is not the South Horizon region, not some countryside mountain village. A large group of people said in disdain. Long Fei clenched his fists. If this was his family meeting, if it wasn't for Old Master Chen, he would definitely slap them across the face. Chen Xiaoshan said slightly, Long Fei, I did not ask you to come here to express your opinion. This is the Chen family ancestral hall. You do not have the qualifications to name 3 or 4. Chen Tianfei, let me ask you now, do you have anything you want to say? Chen Tianfei took a step forward, and said, do you all wish to take back the qualifications to be accepted? Chen Xiaoshan said, what's wrong? Do you still want to enter the God Emperor Academy? Look at your body full of fat, look at your current cultivation, Do you think you have the qualifications to represent the Chen family and enter the God Emperor Academy? Are you qualified? Right, are you qualified? Why don't you take care of yourself? If it wasn't for the old man protecting you, you probably would have been chased out of the Chen family a long time ago. Damn fat pig. The old man's love for Chen Tianfei had made countless people jealous and hateful. Now that the old man was not here, they all wanted to step on Chen Tianfei crazily. Chen Tianfei's gaze turned sinister as he said, "You've already reported the name of the entrance exam. Do you want to change it? Do you have the right to do so?" At this moment, an old man walked out from the other side of the temple. An elder of the God Emperor Academy. With a smile, he replied, "Clan head Chen already had the foresight to do so. I did not report your name to the sect, so the only thing I can do now is change it." Chen Xiaoshan laughed coldly, and said, "Chen Tianfei, we are only notifying you once, even if you agree, you have to agree, no. You have to agree as well. Do you understand?" Trash. Chapter 38_8419235696. The word trash was especially harsh. The word trash was especially harsh. Like everyone else, Chen Xiaoshan was also very jealous of Chen Tianfei. The Chen family had already given everything to this trash with immortal foundation, he could not accept this. Chen Tianfei stared at the elder of the God Emperor Academy. The elder smiled. "What are you looking at? Do you still want to join the God Emperor Academy? You must be dreaming. If I were to accept trash like you into my sect, I would lose all my face. Wake up, stop dreaming." Chen Tianfei's face did not reveal much of an expression. Seeing the mocking and disdainful gazes of everyone in the Chen clan, he had already anticipated this from the very beginning. After his grandfather died, the result that awaited him was exactly this. Chen Tianfei turned and left the ancestral hall. At this moment, Chen Yuran shouted, "Wait." Chen Tianfei turned around and asked softly, "Is there anything else? Leave the three-rate fairy vein on you." The corner of Chen Yuran's mouth rose slightly. Chen Tianfei's gaze darkened as he stared at Chen Yuran, and said, "I used my life to exchange for the fire cloud fairy root. What right do you have to make me stay?" Chen Yuran said, "Why should I? Mph, how many things have you defeated in the Chen family? Just based on this, you have to make the fire cloud fairy root stay, and also, for a trash like you who can't even break through the arrogant immortal state, it's just a waste." He looked down on Zhongxian once more. Chen Tianfei felt inferior in his heart. However, after being crushed again and again, the rage in his heart raged. Chen Tianfei's gaze tensed up, and said, "What if I say no?" Chen Yuran laughed coldly and said, "Then don't even think of walking out of the ancestral hall." Clang. When the door closed, two spiritual level guards guarded the door. Long Fei frowned and thought, "Crap." It was also at this time. Man Tuoluo and Xiao Ying were pushed out. Chen Yuran laughed coldly and said, "Not only are you unable to leave, even your friends are unable to leave as well." Long Fei did not think that the Chen family members would actually be so despicable, pushing him aside and attacking Man Tuoluo and Xiao Ying. This made him extremely unhappy. The muscles at the corners of Chen Tianfei's eyes began to tremble. "Uncle Yuran, do we have to do this? Why? Are you upset?" Chen Yuran laughed and said, "Trash, hand over the fire cloud fairy root and I will let you leave." He was very clear about Chen Tianfei's personality. As long as they caught Man Tuoluo and Xiao Ying, they would definitely be able to threaten him. At this moment, no one in the Chen family stood up to speak up for him. Chen Tianfei looked at all the cold faces and mocking expressions on their faces and laughed bitterly. He took out the fire yuanxian root from the space ring and said, "Release them. Hand over the immortal foundation." Chen Yuran did not give in. Long Fei was very unhappy in his heart, extremely unhappy. He hated it when people threatened him with the people beside him the most. If it wasn't for Chen Tianfei, if not for Old Master Chen's relationship, Long Fei would have already gone berserk. Chen Tianfei threw the fire yuanxian root out. Chen Yuran reached out to catch it, and with a grin, he said, "You're very obedient." "Ha ha ha. Let them go. The two disciples pushed Man Tuoluo and Xiao Ying away, causing Chen Yuran to say disdainfully, "Get out of here, from today onwards, the Chen family has nothing to do with you." Scram. Scram. Trash. Get the hell out of the Chen clan. All these years, the face of the Chen clan has been completely thrown away by you. Ha ha ha. I've finally gotten rid of this pig. The Chen family disciples all started to loudly despise him and clamor. Long Fei stood in place without moving. Chen Tianfei held onto him tightly, and said, "Boss." Chen Xiaoshan looked at Long Fei with a cold smile, and said, "Trash from the southern domain, do you have anything else to say?" Scram. Ha ha ha. Long Fei said solemnly, "I only want to tell you guys that one day, you will all be disappointed. You all will kneel in front of him, and this day won't be too far away either. Kneel in front of this pig. Ha ha ha. Brat, everyone has their own kind and everyone has their own group. Trash always likes to be together with trash. You are Trash from the South Horizon region, and he is Trash from the Chen family. Do you think that Trash can become a genius? I was afraid that you would come crawling in front of me like a dog and beg me." Chen Xiaoshan laughed in disdain. What future could a person who had fused with waste immortal roots have? No. Chen Tianfei was nothing now. He was just a piece of trash. As for Long Fei, as long as they leave the Chen family, the news would spread to the Murong King Manor, and at that time, they would die in the streets. And there was also the Black Shark faction. Long Fei had killed the people of Black Shark faction. Black Shark faction would never let him go, he was waiting to be hunted down. Not only that, the Chen family and the elders of the God Emperor Academy would not give them the chance to pass the assessment. Everything was firmly controlled by Chen Xiaoshan and he would never be able to rise again in this lifetime. Long Fei was the same. It was difficult to even protect himself, let alone protect Chen Tianfei. Long Fei laughed coldly. Scram. Get out of the Chen clan. Long Fei looked at Chen Xiaoshan, his eyes cold, flickering with a cold killing intent. He said coldly, "If it wasn't for old man Chen, I would have killed you all one by one." This was not his family. This was Chen Tianfei's family. No matter how angry he was, it was not good for him to interfere too much. The cold was bone-piercing. For some reason, Chen Xiaoshan suddenly shivered. However, Chen Xiaoshan recovered instantly, his gaze cold and filled with killing intent, and said, "If it wasn't for the fact that I saw you sending off your life for my father, you would have already died. Get out of the Chen residence." Long Fei glared at Chen Xiaoshan coldly from the corner of his eyes. Chen Xiaoshan was also staring at him. After a long time, Long Fei turned and left. Chen Xiaoshan laughed disdainfully, "You overestimate your capabilities, you really think you're worthy? 7th level of the immortal realm is nothing. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha." Laughter erupted from the ancestral hall. They had already forgotten that old man Chen had just died. Chen Tianfei knelt in front of the morning hall with his fists clenched tightly. And then, he turned and left. Not a word was spoken along the way. He rushed straight towards the direction of the Murong mansion. In the ancestral hall, those people from the Chen clan didn't mention the matter of revenge, but he couldn't. He had to make the Murong family pay the price. Even if he had to die, he had to kill one or two. However, when Long Fei saw the 4 big words Murong King's Manor, Long Fei grabbed Chen Tianfei and said angrily, "Are you planning to throw your life away?" Chen Tianfei said solemnly, "Don't stop me." "Won't stop you? Humph. You think I want to stop you? If it wasn't for old man Chen's order, would I have stopped you?" Long Fei was equally enraged in his heart, and said, "Being called a trash by so many people, you don't even dare to make a sound. Now that we're heading to the Murong King's Manor, you want to follow your grandfather on the road, huh? Why didn't you just run over your grandfather's coffin and kill him? Is it awe-inspiring now? He went to risk his life." Long Fei grabbed Chen Tianfei's collar with one hand and pushed him against the wall with the other. "If you don't return today's humiliation, you will always be a weakling." Chapter 48_8419235697. Chen Tianfei was struggling. Chen Tianfei was struggling. However, the power that Long Fei unleashed from his anger completely crushed him. He was even angrier than Fatty Chen. Fatty Chen was his brother. Slapping his brother's face was the same as slapping his own face. If he still did not return this slap, Long Fei would never stop. Chen Tianfei looked at Long Fei. Suddenly, he collapsed and cried out like a child, "My trash immortal foundation is not suitable for cultivation at all. What can I do? What can I do?" Ah! Chen Tianfei exploded. His heart felt incomparably uncomfortable. He also wanted to crush those Chen clan disciples in the ancestral hall. He also wanted to take back everything that belonged to him, but his cultivation base. It was impossible for him to achieve this with his strength and talent. Long Fei clenched his fists and said, "Do you want to become stronger?" Chen Tianfei laughed bitterly. Long Fei punched the wall to the right of his face and roared, "Tell me, do you want to become stronger? Do you want to slap your face and go back? Do you want to slap the faces of those who look down on you? Think. Do you want to tell me, or not?" Long Fei stared deadly at Chen Tianfei. Humans could be defeated, humiliated, ridiculed, despised. Everyone gives up on you, but you can't give up on yourself. You can't allow yourself to fall into depravity. You can't not have a strong heart. Otherwise, you will forever be a pile of mud, unable to support the wall. Chen Tianfei looked at Long Fei, and said with a heavy voice, "Yes." Long Fei roared out, and said, louder. Chen Tianfei screamed, "Yes. F***ck. Are you trying to shatter my eardrums?" Long Fei smiled, looked at Chen Tianfei, and said, "Just think about it, there's still another month before the God Emperor Academy's assessment. Everyone looks down on you. This time, you will make everyone shocked for you. If you don't have the qualifications to pass the examination, then use your strength to enter." These words were told to Chen Tianfei. It was also being told to Long Fei herself. No one looked down on the South Horizon region. The South Horizon region was a place where trash gathered in the immortal domain. Even if they were banished here, it would never produce a strong practitioner. This was the pain in Long Fei's heart. He wanted to let everyone open their eyes wide so that they could see clearly, and he wanted to make the entire God Emperor Academy tremble for him. He had to. At this moment, a few human figures were forced into the cave. Xiao Ying reminded him, "Young Master Long, someone is coming." Long Fei's heart trembled. "They came fast. Looks like the Murong Prince's household is not going to let us live. In that case, then." Suddenly, "Ah! Ah!" A few miserable shrieks rang out, and all the black figures that forced their way out disappeared into the darkness. It was also at this time the smoke thunder landed beside Long Fei and smiled. "Brat, we meet again." Long Fei was startled, and said, "Senior, this is..." The smoke thunder turned around and looked at the corpse not far away, and said, "I managed to catch Black Shark Faction's lackeys and conveniently took care of them." Black Shark Faction? Long Fei's heart trembled, and thought to himself, "I really don't think I've offended Black Shark Faction. Regardless of whether I've offended him or not. Since you have angered this father, then you definitely won't let me off. All of you must die." He wanted to rise up. If he wanted everyone to have a whole new level of respect for the South Horizon region, he needed to level up and break through just because he couldn't speak of it. As long as one was strong, others would respect him. The smoke thunder said lightly, "I'm here on behalf of the young miss to receive you. Follow me." "Your young miss?" Long Fei was a little suspicious. He had only been in the God Emperor Academy for a day and he did not know anyone. Smoke thunder laughed, "Our young miss is surnamed." As soon as his voice faded, a woman wearing a veil appeared in Long Fei's mind. A woman from the Fengyuan Merchant Union of Fire Glass City immediately asked, "Pavilion Master Fu?" This woman who had helped him so much. The woman who saved her grandfather. If not for her, I'm afraid that even Grandpa Long Fei would. Long Fei never forgot this kindness in his heart. He had always wanted to repay her, but he had no idea where she had gone to. "I didn't expect to be in this God Emperor city." Long Fei said, "We will go with you." Xiao Ying pouted slightly and was a little jealous. She muttered, If you hear it's a woman, immediately go with the others. Mph. Man Tualuo glared at her. And then the four of them followed the smoke thunder and left. Half an hour later. Vermilion Bird Street, God's Phoenix Pavilion's backyard. Fu Shishan stood at the doorway and looked at Long Fei from afar. At this moment, she did not wear a veil like the Fire Glass City, revealing her mature and exquisite face. Her eyes were filled with tears. The person she missed day and night appeared in front of her. At this moment, she couldn't say a word. Long Fei was the same as well. He didn't know what to say as he walked over to Yun Chei's side and said softly, "Pavilion Master Fu." Fu Shishan laughed and said, "I am no longer some pavilion master, I am now the Tower Lord of the God's Phoenix Pavilion, and one of the people in charge of the Fengyuan Merchant Union in the God Emperor City. You call me Yun Shan." "No, I'm older than you, so you should call me Sister Yun Shan." "Sister Yun Shan," Long Fei cried out. The gratitude in his heart could not be expressed with words. Fu Shishan immediately smiled like a flower and said, "Hurry up and come in." Man Tualuo was shocked. People in charge of the Fengyuan Merchant Union? This is one of the 10 commercial alliances of the Sky Martial Continent. I never thought you would have such a great backer. Chen Tianfei was even more shocked. He had never seen the big boss of the God's Phoenix Pavilion. He never knew that he was such a beauty, and he was one of the heads of the Fengyuan Merchant Union. The Fengyuan Merchant Union was very powerful, not weaker than any of the first-rate families in the God Emperor City. "Boss, don't worry about eating from now on." Fatty Chen became excited. Fu Shishan said, "I have already prepared food for all of you, you will stay here from now on. You can eat whatever you want to, and no one will chase you away." Yay! Xiao Ying cheered. She had been jealous at first, but now she cheered. After eating and drinking to their heart's content, Fu Shishan had so much he wanted to tell Long Fei, but he didn't know where to start. Long Fei was the same. He wanted to thank Fu Shishan and do something for her, but now that he was like this, first become strong, Long Fei said, "Sis, is there any good place for cultivation in God Emperor Academy?" Fu Shishan laughed. "There are a lot of demon beast, right?" Long Fei scratched his head and laughed. "Sister understands me the best." Fu Shishan smiled and said, "When I saw you, I had already made up my mind. God Emperor City has a gigantic slaughterhouse. In addition, God Emperor City has an underground river. I heard that this river flowed down from the God Emperor Peak. There are also a few demon beast in the river, but these demon beast are much stronger. If you go alone, I won't be at ease. If you want to go, you must bring the Uncle Lei." Long Fei immediately asked, "What can I go to the slaughterhouse for?" Fu Shishan replied, "Any time." Long Fei said, "Then let's do it now." "Huh!" Fu Shishan was startled. Long Fei shouted loudly, "Fatty, come with me, I want you to become someone else." Chapter 5, 8_841923566948. The God Emperor City was very big and there were a lot of restaurants and restaurants. The God Emperor City was very big and there were a lot of restaurants and restaurants. The demand for meat is considerable. The requirements for meat quality was also high, so it became a business of demon beast. This is the place. Can the two of you do it? Let me tell you, if something happens, our slaughterhouse won't be responsible. An abattoir manager reminded. These demon beasts were all very fierce. It was common for a butcher to be injured or crippled. Every year, a few people would die. Long Fei became excited as he looked at the demon beast inside. "No problem, you won't be responsible for my death." "That's good. There are some old butchers in there. They'll teach you how to do it." After giving out the instructions, he yawned and walked back into the house. Chen Tianfei was puzzled. "Boss, why did you bring me here?" Long Fei smiled mysteriously and said, "You don't even know how strong you are now. Now, I'm going to activate all of the power in your body. We'll see. You will shock everyone, and make those people from the Chen clan regret what they did to you." Long Fei could not help but become excited when he thought of the scene of an invincible defense guard standing in front of him. Chen Tianfei still did not understand, but Without waiting for him to understand, he was dragged into the slaughterhouse by Long Fei. Long Fei used all the strength in his hands and directly lifted up Chen Tianfei, throwing him into the air. "Boss, what are you doing?" Whoosh. Bam. The 250 kilograms of fatty exploded in the middle of the 2,000-plus demon beast. All the demon beast were staring at the fat on Fatty Chen's body, emitting a green light while drooling. All the demon beast were thinking, is this a delicacy the heavens have bestowed to them? Chen Tianfei was dumbstruck. He slowly stood up and shouted, "Boss, quickly save me, I am going to be dismembered by these demon beast." An old butcher also accused him, "Brat, are you crazy? He will die." Long Fei smiled faintly and said, "He won't die. Fatty, do you know why you didn't die when you fell from the cliff? It's not because you have too much flesh, not because you have too much life, but because the immortal foundation you fused with is a holy armor fairy vein, so your defense is invincible. Now let these demon beast activate the power in your body." Finished. Long Fei shook a basin of demon beast blood and sprinkled it on the fatty's body. And at this moment, the demon beast went berserk and crazily rushed at Chen Tianfei. Fatty Chen's eyes were glazed as he muttered, "It's over, this handsome brother is going to meet the king of hell." Bam! Bam! The demon beast crazily collided with Fatty Chen. After being knocked back and forth, Fatty Chen was kicked around like a rubber ball by the demon beast. Fatty Chen had no way of backing out. Long Fei grinned, "When your power is unleashed, it will shock everyone. Just you wait, immortal sword Kong Kim." At the same time, Long Fei picked up his butcher's blade, grabbed a demon beast and swung it down. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing level 1 monster for obtaining 120 experience, 10 power of celestial points, 1 energy values. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing level 1 monster for obtaining 120 experience, 10 power of celestial points, 1 energy values. Long Fei started killing crazily. Although he didn't have much experience. However, the number of demon beast was enormous, enough to meet the requirements for Long Fei to level up. The old butchers were dumbfounded. Is this kid crazy? One was crazy in the demon beast circle, being kicked around in front of the ball, while the other was crazy here, massacring like a mad demon. You look down on the people of the South Horizon region? Looking down on lousy? Just you wait. The South Horizon region rose once again because of the Long family. From today onwards, the South Horizon region will rise once again because of the Long family. Ah! He was like a mad demon. He started killing crazily. In another place. What did you say? They entered the God's Phoenix Pavilion? Don't tell me they are groomed by the Fengyuan Merchant Union. The tiger shark's face darkened. None of the assassins he sent out returned, and they were all killed. Pavilion Master, what do we do now? Should I ask the sect leader? Moreover, right now, a third-stage fire cloud fairy root is no longer in Fatty Chen's hands. He is now just a piece of trash, it's completely useless. As for that boy surnamed Long, he's a trash from the South Horizon region. A killing intent surfaced in the tiger shark's eyes as it sneered, "This brat must pay the price for killing my Black Shark faction's men. There's no need to notify the sect master first. Humph. Just you wait and see. See how I'll kill you." The Murong family had also received this news. Murong Fenglei laughed out loud, "Old thing Chen, you're finally dead, ha ha ha. Is the Chen family still a match for the Murong prince's estate? Pass my orders." At this moment, Murong Tian slightly said, "Father, the Chen family is now crippled, there is no need to make a move against such a family. The most direct way to make them disappear from God Emperor City is to snap the disciples who sent them there." Huh? Murong Fenglei's brows shook as he asked, "Tiana, where's the fire cloud fairy root?" "Daddy prepared that for you." Murong Tian smiled and said, "You don't have to worry about the immortal foundation. Master is already preparing it for me, and my attribute fire cloud fairy root is not suitable either. But that pig Chen Tianfei and that trash from the South Horizon region. To dare act so arrogantly in front of my Murong King Manor, now that they have lost the protection of the general's estate, I must make them disappear from God Emperor City. Thinking about Long Fei's arrogant mouth made him unhappy. A trash from the South Horizon region actually dared to act so arrogantly in front of him. Murong Fenglei said, "Their relationship with the Fengyuan Merchant Union has yet to be investigated, the power of the Fengyuan Merchant Union." Murong Tian laughed. "Father, you don't have to worry, I have a plan for this matter. No matter how powerful the Fengyuan Merchant Union is, it is not as powerful as the God Emperor Academy. And since the Fengyuan Merchant Union wants to meddle in other people's business, we should also consider whether or not he has the qualifications to do so." 3 days later. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Current level, 8th grade immortal rank. At this moment, Chen Tianfei was still knocked around by the group of demon beasts. He had already slowly gotten used to it and was beginning to feel the power of the holy armor fairy vein in his body. 5 days later. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Current level, holy 9th rank. Ding. System notification. You need to fuse with a level 1 immortal root in order to break through the spiritual level. So it's like that. Table of contents, no windows. A++ level 1 immortal root. Long Fei looked at the space ring, and the exploded immortal foundation was completely swallowed by the ancestor, and also, during this period of time, the patriarch was still continuously fusing with the dragon Salia, and Long Fei wasn't sure when it would be completed either. I have to think of a way to get the level 1 immortal root. Is it the Murong King's Manor, or the Black Shark faction? The 6th chapter, with a chapter added. On the last day of March there was also the support of monthly tickets. The sea was extremely grateful. As long as he could maintain his 10th place, it would be the 10th time tomorrow. 8_841923569949. Ordinary martial artists need celestial roots to break through. Ordinary martial artists need celestial roots to break through. Long Fei was the same. Moreover, not only did he need level 1 immortal root S, he also needed 2nd level fairy route S, otherwise, he wouldn't be able to break through. Not only that, the ghosts in the Yellow Springs summoning seal were like a group of eager children. They also needed the power of immortal foundation, hence the mission on Long Fei was very difficult. Black Shark faction? Murong Mansion? Long Fei thought about it carefully. I'll still go to the underground river to see if I can get anything. Fatty. Long Fei shouted to Chen Tianfei, who was lying in the demon beast circle, "Stop playing dead, hurry up and get up." "Boss, can't you just let me have a good night's sleep? I almost fell asleep." Chen Tianfei crawled up from the ground and yawned. He was somewhat unwilling. In these 8 days, he was basically being abused by the demon beast. However, just as Long Fei had said, he was not dead. Even he himself could not believe that he had miraculously survived, and he even faintly felt that he had broken through the holy 9th rank. The immortal foundation within his body was very dense. The more he was struck, beaten, and bitten by the demon beast, the stronger the power in his body became as it slowly gathered bit by bit. Am I born to be oppressed? Fatty Chen wanted to cry, but no tears came out. However, he also accepted it. He could only make himself stronger. He was willing to make a breakthrough no matter how much more bitter it was. He had to make the Murong prince's residents pay the price, and he had to avenge his grandfather. Fatty Chen walked out and asked, "Boss, where are we going now?" Long Fei said, "To the underground river." "Huh? Is that the underground stink ditch you took me to last time?" Fatty Chen said. Long Fei said, "Right, below the smelly ditch is the underground river, and you will soon be the holy 9th rank, right? It is time for you to fuse with the 2nd level fairy route." 2nd level fairy route. Fatty Chen exhaled and said, "The 2nd level fairy route is too difficult. Immortal roots were too scarce. 2nd level fairy route was even rarer." With his current comprehension ability, it was simply impossible for him to comprehend the 2nd level fairy route. "Sure. I'll go with you," Fatty Chen shouted out, and followed behind Long Fei. Early morning. When Fu Shishan walked to the backyard, he was already awake. During this time, she had been training her alchemy technique. There were many different types of examinations in the God Emperor Academy. Other than the examinations for the use of force, there were also assessments for alchemy, formation, artifact forging, and a series of other special examinations. If one's alchemy was refined well, one could also enter the God Emperor Academy. Xiao Ying was also training, but he was also. She trained in strange powers. "Good morning, Sister Yun Shan." Man Tuoluo greeted. Fu Shishan was overjoyed. "The pills you refined yesterday have all been sold out, they are truly popular. Today, I want to tell you something. In 10 days, God Emperor City will organize an annual large-scale auction jointly with God Emperor City, to see if you can refine any pills for our Feng Yuan Merchant Union to hold." "Right. Where's Long Fei?" Fu Shishan looked at the courtyard. Man Tuoluo said, "He's still not back yet." "Huh?" Fu Shishan was startled, and immediately asked, "Uncle Lei?" The smoke thunder descended in a flash and asked, "Miss, do you have any instructions?" Fu Shishan asked, "Why is Long Fei not back yet? Did something happen at the slaughterhouse?" The smoke thunder said, "Probably not. No one knows about the matter regarding them at the slaughterhouse yet. The Murong Prince's manor and the Black Shark faction should not be able to find that place." "Then they..." Fu Shishan's eyes shook as he said, "Underground river." The smoke thunder was also shocked. "This brat. Are you crazy?" Immediately, he disappeared in the blink of an eye. Fu Shishan shouted anxiously, "Uncle Lei, you be careful yourself. Underground river? Slaughterhouse? So you actually hid in that place after not showing your face for such a long time? Just wait for me and see how I take care of you guys." A disciple of the Black Shark faction quickly retreated. At the same time, Murong Tian from the Murong King's manor also received the news. Murong Tian's eyes turned sinister. "You've finally revealed yourselves, let's see how long you can hide for. Junior apprentice brother. Leave this kind of lame duck from the southern domain to us, don't worry. He must not see the sun tomorrow." A 20-year-old man wearing God Emperor Academy clothes said. Murong Tian immediately said, "Then I'll have to thank the senior fellow apprentice. Once this matter is successful, the fairy stones will definitely have to thank you. Money can make a difference. Fairy stones are 10,000 times more precious than money, they can make the grindstone fly." Murong Tian's mouth turned cold, and laughed. "Long Fei, you want to play with me in God Emperor City? Do you think I can't touch you just because you have the Feng Yuan Merchant Alliance backing you? Just you wait and see how I'll play you to death." At this moment, Murong Fenglei walked out from the back of the hall and said, "Get the students of the God Emperor Academy to deal with him." "Good move." Murong Tian laughed. "It's a pity that we can't kill that trash with our own hands. We let him take advantage of us." Murong Fenglei said, "The process is not important, so long as the result is good." "Right. The Family Jin Union has already sent back a message. They have agreed to cooperate with us. As long as we can provide them with any accurate information, they will make their move." Murong Fenglei said, "Other than that, the news just arrived from the Jin clan. The God Emperor City's auction will start in 10 days. What do you want? Father will buy it for you." The Murong King's manor was the God Emperor Academy's intelligence agency. Collecting information was what they were most adept at. Murong Tian smiled slightly and said, "It's not 10 commercial alliances, but 9 business union. Didn't the Fengyuan Merchant Alliance want to support Long Fei? Then let him die for sure. Heh. This auction was before the God Emperor Academy assessment. The various major trading unions were all closely organizing the event. Although it was a joint conference, the truth was that they were all secretly competing with each other. Whoever had something good would have a firmer footing in the God Emperor Academy. This was a good opportunity to show their face, and no merchant union would miss it. This year was even more different. This year's auction was an unprecedented strong one, with all sorts of powerful items. All the big merchant unions will take out their most valuable treasures, and even immortal stage divine equipment. Moreover, in the past, it was only the competition between the various nobles of God Emperor City, but this year was different. God Emperor Academy enlarged her recruitment. There were experts entering the immortal domain, the dark domain, and the wilderness region, so the number of contenders would increase. Another formless battle. As long as the items were good, their power and influence would increase. This was an auction that took place in the entire Tianwu continent, an unprecedented auction. To the contenders, this was a battle to the death. It was a close combat between the merchant union. Murong Tian said, "I don't know yet, but there should be something that I need." Murong Fenglei laughed, "Don't worry, I prepared 400 fairy stones this time." This was the full fortune of the Murong prince's estate. For Murong Tian. Murong Fenglei did not hesitate to pay any price. If he could push Murong Tian to the position of a demon slayer, let alone 400 fairy stones, even if the Murong prince residence had to go bankrupt, it would not be at all. In another place. Underground river. "Boss, what's all this?" Chen Tianfei's scalp went numb. In front of him stood a monster that had just crawled out of the water. The reason they were called monsters was because these demon beasts were all like the mutated lizards from his previous life. His eyes were fixated on the fat on Fatty Chen's body. Long Fei looked at the underground river, which was surging with waves. There were quite a lot of these monsters in the water. No matter what. One word. Sister-in-law, 1, // health, strongest upgrade system kill. Long Fei slightly shouted and pushed the fatty out of the room. "Fatty, it's time to check on the results of your training." "Ah!" Fatty Chen roared and rushed forward with his life on the line. The first chapter, "Thank you Brother Lei for your support of the monthly tickets." Thank you. 8_841923569550. Crack, crack, a bite. Half of its body was in the monster's mouth. "Ah, ah, ah. Boss, I'm going to die," Fatty Chen shouted. However, there was not a single drop of blood on his body. Instead, a halo of light appeared on his body, making him look like an astral energy armor. Crack. The demon beast's sharp teeth were broken. Fatty Chen did not notice it. He was shouting and shouting, nearly scared to the point that he peed his pants. Long Fei was incredibly shocked in his heart. This guy's defense. It's simply invincible. At the same time, Long Fei shouted in his heart, "Level 4 unparalleled, open." Power surged. Long Fei's fists moved, rushing forward, immortal divine fists. Boom. Boom. The power of Celestial surged, and it used all of its strength every single time. Every time it struck the demon beast's body, its body would turn into a block of wood, like the power of freezing ice. It's just that Long Fei was using Mu Feng's power. Greater than sign damage continued to float above the demon beast's head. Demon beast, devouring sword beast health, level 3 description. This demon beast was birthed from the God Emperor mountain. It contains a sword within its body, and is called the sword beast swallowing. Huh! There's a sword in his body. I just happen to be lacking a weapon. Long Fei muttered, and said secretly, "Ancestor, could it be that the dragon Salia you refined with me ate him, and did not dare to see me?" Such a long time. Long Fei was extremely drunk since the fusion had not yet completed. Life without the dragon Salia is so uncomfortable. "Boss, what are you mumbling about? Hurry up, I'm about to be eaten by this guy." Fatty Chen shouted. Long Fei increased his pace and quickly attacked. Bam! 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 Because the attacks of the sword beast swallowing were all on his mouth, Long Fei did not need to worry. He just kept attacking it in front of the live target. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing devouring sword beast 4, obtaining 200 EXP, 50 power of celestial points, and 1 energy values. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the Profound Nether Sword. Weapon, Profound Nether Sword grade, Immortal grade 4 description. This sword is a remnant sword that cannot be used. It needs to be reforged. Broken sword. Long Fei muttered. One of the sword beast suddenly rushed out of the water and pounced towards Xiong Longfei. Chen Tianfei crawled out from the mouth of the sword beastess. When he saw the sword beastess pouncing towards him in the water, he moved his body, causing a halo to burst forth from his body. Buzz! It stood in front of Long Fei, blocking his way. Bam! The swallowing sword beast bit Chen Tianfei hard, causing Chen Tianfei to shriek like a ghost, slapping me in the face instead of beating me up. You always King bite my face. What if you bite my face until it breaks? How preposterous. Fatty was infuriated. The godly aura within its body trembled, and the energy that burst out caused the sword beast's teeth to shatter. Long Fei quickly attacked, and after a series of fierce beatings. Half a minute later. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Devouring Sword Beast 4, obtaining 200 experience, 50 power of celestial and 1 energy values. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Falling Moon Broken Sword Her? Another broken sword? What's the situation? Long Fei looked at the current in the sky. This underground river had flowed down from inside the God Emperor Peak. Could it be that these sword beast devourers had devoured the remnants of swords made by masters in God Emperor Academy to become like this? Not giving Long Fei time to think, the other sword beast flew out. Kill. Let's kill them first. Ding. Ding. The system kept beeping. As his experience points increased, the value of his power of celestial increased. However, Long Fei was not afraid, as all he needed was a tiny spirit burst pill to be able to fully recover his power of celestial. After a full day of killing, Long Fei and Fatty Chen were already exhausted. Long Fei's space ring exploded with a large amount of broken swords. Fatty Chen said, "Boss, it's about time. If we don't rest now, I really won't be able to hold on." Long Fei said, "Go back." He was also afraid of Man Tuoluo, Fu Shishan, and the others. But right at this moment, all of a sudden, huge waves rolled across the dark river and the river water started to flow crazily. A golden light flashed. "Boss." Long Fei's gaze tensed up, the sword beast swallowing king. What shocked Long Fei the most was that the boss carried a huge sword on its back, just like the dragon Life Nine Suns did. The sword glowed. This was no ordinary product. Also, the body of the sword beast king emitted a dense aura of the power of celestial, similar to the aura emitted by the fairy beast outside the god's soul town. Without waiting for Long Fei to be shocked, Fatty Chen immediately crawled up and said, "Fairy beast." Long Fei immediately said, "Explode him." Before he could finish his sentence, Fatty Chen had already run far away. "Boss, I'll go buy you dinner." He instantly slipped away. The fairy beast. An existence with abnormal battle strength. Long Fei shouted, "Fatty, you're too shameless. You're a monster, right? I'm also a monster." Suddenly, Long Fei moved, and roared out in his heart, "Imperial Claw, out. Rumble." Long Fei immediately transformed into an incomparably huge Imperial Claw, slamming heavily into the river. This was the Mountain Sea Scripture's beast transformation system. The Imperial Claw was a demon beast he killed. She transformed into the Ao Huang Emperor and drilled into the water, facing the sword beast that was also staring at her. Long Fei was extremely shocked. The sword beast devouring king was exactly similar to the Dragon King's 9 seeds, except its appearance was even more ferocious. Its 2 green eyes stared at Long Fei. Roar! A furious roar came out from the water waves as they charged towards Xiong Longfei crazily. This is the immortal domain. The Ao Huang was only a demon beast in the Demon Sea of the South Horizon region, and its rank was not on the same level. However, how could he not explode when he saw the boss? The sword beast swallowing king flung his giant tail and the water ripples became like a sword as it shot towards Xiong Longfei. When the Goblin Emperor entered the water, he was not a match for the swallowing sword beast king. It was just that Long Fei was able to use it to check the attributes of the king. Recover. Shua. As his body returned to his original body, Long Fei's gaze tensed up. In the water, he watched as the swallowing sword beast's feet pushed against the water and rushed forward, Thunder Dragon Rod. Come out. Fei. Lend me some power of thunder and lightning. Long Fei's idea penetrated deep into the Thunder Dragon Rod's pearl. Fei wanted to rush out, but was choked by the water and said, Master, you're so bad. I hate water. I can't release the power of thunder and lightning in the water. Huh. Long Fei's heart tightened. At this moment, the huge sword carried by the swallowing sword beast king shot out a shadow, flying straight up to the sky, and ruthlessly slashed down towards Long Fei, revealing a look of disdain. Die. This strike was very powerful. Sister-in-law, 1, +/ health, strongest upgrade system. It was like a stone tablet rising to the heavens, suppressing down. F***CK. Harm my boss. You bastard, did you get Lao's permission? Fatty Chen returned after leaving. As he saw a sword shadow descending, the immortal foundation in his heart exploded as he charged forward. Chapter 28_841923569551. The fatty pounced. The fatty pounced. Long Fei rushed forward. He did not defend. Even. He had long guessed that the fatty would come back. He understood Chen Tianfei's personality very well. Boom. The gigantic sword phantom descended, and heavily stabbed Chen Tianfei in the back. His body abruptly sank, and was instantly suppressed into the water, firmly nailing him to the riverbed. Phut! Chen Tianfei spat out a mouthful of blood and muttered, "Fuck you, you're so strong. However, I'm stronger than you." Ah! Chen Tianfei roared in his heart, and a power of Celestial burst out from his body. The power of Celestial was like a set of armor that wrapped around his body, causing Chen Tianfei to become furious. Buzz! The divine armor on his body trembled, forming a powerful backlash. Crack! Catcher! Catcher! The enormous phantom shadow sword began to crack, and like the sound of ice cracking, it quickly split open and spread out. Tank. Large class tank. If he were to use the game's words, Chen Sheng's entire body would be covered in meat, and he wouldn't be able to get through. With him in the front row, he was invincible. At the same time, Long Fei's pace increased bit by bit as he roared in his heart, "Ancestor, are you done yet?" The pubes's body slightly moved. Yang Huang Ancestor's aura surged out as she said excitedly, "Completed. All right. Give me your saber." Long Fei roared, his right hand grabbing the air. Boom. The dragon Salia flew out from the space ring. Its appearance had changed. Previously, it was only a dragon on the back of a blade. Item, Dragon Salia grade, Ji Zun, 3rd level, weight, 13,000 Jin damage. Description, Dragon Salia has reached the 3rd level of cultivation. The body of the blade has changed to become a dragon blade. Description 2, Hidden skill Dark Dragon God's Fury, has a insta-kill effect. If touched, the player will be hit more than 30 levels. Description 3, increases critical hit by 100%. At this moment, the dragon Salia was done fusing. Long Fei's entire being was boiling. Looking at its attribute, Long Fei was even more excited. In his hand was not a blade, but a dragon. Light weapons. His right hand grabbed out heavily, and with a step, he landed in front of the sword beast king. The corner of his mouth drew back, and he let out a cold laugh. "Let me experience your strength." Yang Huang Ancestor became excited. He also wanted to see it for himself. The supreme artifact of the South Horizon region. Supreme artifact S that had been passed down in the Long family for countless years. Now that he had reached the 3rd level of Ji Zun, the Dragon Salia had completely evolved under the fusion of Heart of Ancient Fairy Tree. He was enraged. Long Fei's eyes darkened, and his blade slashed down. Boom. The water in the dark river was immediately split open, the blade cut down the head of the sword beast, 100% chance of exploding out, a red number floated up above his head. 1 slash. Critical hit 380,000 damage. It was only a gentle stab. Long Fei's blood was boiling, the amount of blood on the head of the sword beast devouring king increased by a lot, and he shouted, "Explode for me." The gigantic sword phantom on the back of the sword beast devouring king rushed out again and struck down vertically. It was angry. Long Fei did not care about the defense at all. Underneath the riverbed, Chen Tianfei charged forward. "You still want to hurt my boss, you're not qualified." Whoosh. The gigantic ball of meat rushed forward, blocking Long Fei's attack. Long Fei's power of celestial surged. This time he raised his blade with both hands, and slashed down. Rumble. Rumble. The waves churned and waves crashed against the shore. The entire underground river trembled and the sword beast king trembled crazily. That slash just now was like a black dragon rushing into his mind and strangling it. 100,000 points injuries. The sword beastess let out a scream, and their bodies suddenly split apart. Explode. Long Fei shouted in his heart, release the berserk energy attribute. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei 4 killing rank 2 fairy beast devouring sword beast king 4 obtaining an experience point, power of celestial, 3,000 points, energy values, 1 point. Congratulations to player Long Fei 4 obtaining second level fairy route, sword spirit immortal route. Congratulations to player Long Fei 4 obtaining second level fairy route, beast armored immortal route. Congratulations to player Long Fei 4 obtaining the Beast King Sword's crippling. Congratulations to player Long Fei 4 obtaining Fairy Beastess and Blood Vein S. Do you wish to fuse them? The system beep began to rage. Long Fei was so excited that he was about to dance with joy. Ha ha ha. To be able to produce 2 immortal roots at once, that's what a violent energy feels like. Ding. The Sword Beastess were all absorbed by the Dragon Salia. The blood vein was once again absorbed. The Dragon Salia had started to absorb the blood vein again, but Long Fei didn't care about it. Long Fei immediately warned, Ancestor, you must leave these 2 immortal roots to me. Long Fei wouldn't be able to break through without immortal foundation. This hurt a lot. Right now, he had not even fused with the level 1 immortal root, so even if he had the experience, he would not be able to step into the spiritual level. Yang Huang Ancestor laughed. Brat, do you still want me to train you those ghost soldiers? So many ghost soldiers who wish to train will have to rely on the power of their immortal foundation. Long Fei contemptuously said, you are blackmailing me, right? F***CK. Can't I admit defeat? However, don't move for these 2 immortal roots. I'll give you more next time. On the way to the immortal domain, he found out some things about the immortal foundation from Yi Yi. The immortal foundation was divided into many. The fairy beastess, immortal grasses, and immortal roots that were produced by the heaven and earth, as well as the immortal roots comprehended by the warriors themselves, were all part of some special immortal roots, such as the one that Long Fei just revealed. A sword was a weapon and an attack was a special type of immortal foundation. Armor was armor, and defense was armor. This type of immortal foundation was a special type of immortal foundation. Moreover, once the attacking type of immortal foundation was fused, one would have to fuse with the attacking type of immortal foundation starting from the first stage. Only then would one be able to unleash the most peak realm. Once there was no path of regret. Fatty. Stop playing dead, the blend of fairy vein is ashore. Long Fei looked at Chen Tianfei who was floating on the river surface. If he had not blocked the 2 attacks from earlier, Long Fei would have already been half dead. He had to say it. The fat guy was very eye-catching. The Meat King. What? Fatty Chen wanted to pretend to be dead, but when he heard the words blend of fairy vein, he immediately perked up and said, Boss, what did you say? Blend of fairy vein? What immortal roots? With just a glance, he looked like a prostitute that had just entered a brothel. Long Fei swam to the shore with Fatty following closely behind. Long Fei said, the immortal foundation that you fused with for the first time should be some sort of armor-type immortal foundation, so I'm afraid that for the rest of your life, you will only be able to walk this path of defense. Fatty Chen said, I understand. I understood from the beginning that I am not destined to be that kind of handsome man. Long Fei looked at him contemptuously, and said, have you thought about it yet? Fatty Chen said, Boss, did you obtain the defensive type of immortal foundation? Long Fei nodded his head, and said, starting from the second level fairy route, you might have a chance to change it. Not waiting for him to finish. Fatty Chen directly replied, no, this is the path that I will take. This is the path that Grandpa has chosen for me. I want to pass on his will to continue on. Very firm. Floating life. Table of contents. No windows. A++. He had never been so determined before. Long Fei smiled and took out the beast-armored immortal root from the space ring. Pa pa pa. A clapping sound came from the darkness. Chapter 38_841923569552. Unexpectedly. 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 I never thought that there would be a fairy beast hidden in this dark river. It's still a second-rank fairy beast. The voice came from afar and a group of people slowly walked out of the darkness. He was wearing a black tight suit. He was dressed the same as the people in the inn at Tongxian City. Long Fei stood up, the corner of his mouth lifted into a sneer. Black Shark faction. Not bad. To actually know our identities, that's simple. Hand over the second-level fairy route and kneel on the ground. I will let you guys have a quick death. The tiger shark walked closer, revealing a sinister face. Fatty Chen was very cautious. Long Fei smiled slightly and said, I'm not going to look for you guys, instead, you guys have come to look for me first. The tiger shark looked at Long Fei and its aura was already different from when it was in the God's Phoenix Pavilion. It trembled in its heart. He actually broke through from the 7th level of the nascent immortal realm to the holy 9th rank in a short 10 days. He's truly a demon. However, no matter how monstrous of a genius he was still just a holy 9th rank. Moreover, the tiger shark clearly knew that the strange sword in God's Phoenix Pavilion's hands disappeared. It should be a type of one-time use treasure. After using it, it would be gone. Otherwise, he didn't dare to be so rash. The tiger shark laughed. Holy 9th rank, seems like you have improved a little, but still. Then you still have to kneel down. The voice suddenly roared. Chen Tianfei shouted in anger, kneel before your ancestors. Boom. When the power of Celestial in his body exploded, a ray of light enveloped his body, causing Fatty Chen to rush up, shouting at Long Fei, Boss, you go first, I will hold them off. Leave. None of you can leave. The tiger shark did not even put Chen Tianfei in its eyes. As for defense, what defenses does the holy 9th rank have? The two henchmen next to him charged forward to block it. The corner of the tiger shark's mouth lifted as it stared at Long Fei and said, Lame duck of the southern domain, behave yourself. I thought you were some lousy disciple, but it turns out you're just trash from the South Horizon region. Then, I don't have any scruples at all. A charge. The tiger shark revealed a sinister killing intent. The chi on his body suddenly changed, forming a powerful shockwave that crazily suppressed Xiong Longfei. It was incomparably powerful. Cluck, 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 cluck. Hearing the words trash of the southern domain once again, Long Fei was extremely unhappy. This kind of regional scolding made him angry to the extreme. Trash, right? Then let's see who the F** King Trash is today. Long Fei roared in his heart, 9-grade immortal spirit. F***ck. A month's time should have passed. The last time Long Fei had forcefully released the power of the bronze doll in his mind, it had also caused him to be unable to use it again. It had already been almost 2 months. The strength of the 9-grade immortal spirit was summoned by Long Fei. In his mind, the first bronze man moved, and a powerful energy surged out, fusing into Long Fei's limbs and bones. In that instant, the aura on Long Fei's body instantly changed. Trash, right? Let's see who's more useless. When the 9-grade immortal spirit's power exploded, Long Fei instantly charged forward without any defense. The corners of the tiger shark's mouth drew back. You want to compare strength with me? You're courting death. His fists were like giant hammers that heavily smashed forward, directly striking Long Fei's chest. Long Fei didn't have any defense as he roared in his heart, believe me when I see your power. I want to use my own moves. The 9-grade immortal spirit had an additional skill. However, Long Fei really did not like this type of cultivation technique, because, not violent enough, the moment the tiger shark's fists struck his chest, Long Fei's eyes became angry, and he grabbed onto the tiger shark's neck, constricting it, then pulled it down under his armpit. He stared at the tiger shark and roared like a king of hell, trash? Bam! A fist ruthlessly smashed onto the tiger shark's face. Trash, right? Bam! The right fist struck out ferociously, once again striking the tiger shark's face. After 2 punches, the bones on the tiger shark's face shattered. The power of the tiger shark-S continued to struggle. Was completely crushed by the 9-grade immortal spirit on Long Fei's body. Completely immobilized. Trash, right? You're trash from the South Horizon region, right? The people from your immortal domain are amazing, right? Huh. Bang, bang, bang. Punch after punch, each punch landed on flesh. Every move was full of blood. He didn't care about anything, he just wanted to kill him. The tiger shark was struggling, and his hands were also attacking non-stop. But Long Fei was completely crazy, and didn't let go at all. What are you all waiting for? Get him away from me. Get this madman for me. Without waiting for him to finish speaking, Long Fei struck again with a heavy blow, directly slapping all of the tiger shark's front teeth out of her body. Bam! A few disciples of Black Shark faction rushed forward. Long Fei's gaze darkened, he glared, and angrily shouted, "Let's try and see who dares to come up." His eyes were filled with a brutal and domineering aura. This was not a battle. It was not a competition of cultivation techniques or martial skills, but a competition of who was crazy. Long Fei grabbed the head of the tiger shark and ruthlessly smashed it onto the wall. Bang, bang, bang. The tiger shark was crushed to the point that it couldn't move at all by the 9-grade immortal spirit's strength. It was smashed into a bloody mess by Long Fei, and even his mother couldn't recognize him. Long Fei pressed his hand on the tiger shark's head and said, "Who the hell is the trash now?" He was truly infuriated. What's wrong with the South Horizon region? Did the South Horizon region fuck your ancestors? You look down on the South Horizon region? Long Fei was unhappy. The tiger shark's eyes were bloodshot as she stared at Long Fei gloomily and said, "Brat, do you know what happens if you offend me? Do you think the Black Shark faction is so easy to mess with? Trash, it's best if you let me go, otherwise, Black Shark faction will kill you without a burial ground. Don't think that the Fengyuan Merchant Union will be able to protect you. Even the Fengyuan Merchant Union has to die." Very arrogant. Because Black Shark faction was the #1 sect in God Emperor City. They feared God Emperor Academy and other forces. Not at all. The same was true for the Fengyuan Merchant Union. When the Black Shark faction became truly angry, it was a suppression and destruction that covered the sky. This sort of thing had happened before. Long Fei laughed sinisterly and said, "Black Shark faction, right? Kill you. I'll go destroy your bullshit Black Shark faction." Finished. Long Fei grabbed the tiger shark's head and raised it up high into the air, slowly using power through his 5 fingers. The strength of 9-grade immortal spirit S crushed it. The heads of the tiger shark S were about to shatter. Incomparable pain. And at this moment, the tiger shark let out a blood-curdling screech, as it also became incomparably terrified. Don't kill me. I am trash, I am trash. Not waiting for him to finish. Long Fei's 5 fingers moved, and he shouted coldly, "Die." 36-0 search. Half floating // equals bam, the head split open. The system sounded out. Ding. Chapter 48_841923569553. He only knew how to be afraid when faced with death, but it was too late. He only knew how to be afraid when faced with death, but it was too late. The tiger shark's head exploded, its eyes turned white, its body twitched a few times, then died. The system beeped. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Hall Master Black Shark Faction's Tiger Shark for obtaining 350 experience, 300 power of celestial points, and 100 energy values points. Congratulations to the player Long Fei for obtaining the level 1 Immortal Root Iron Fist Immortal Foundation. Do you wish to fuse it? Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Fairy Stones number 1. A few notifications ended. Those Black Shark Faction S watched on helplessly as the tiger shark was killed. Each and every one of their legs were weak as they knelt on the ground and said, "We are trash, we are trash, we are trash. Please spare us, please spare us. Spare our lives. He. Too late. He had to kill it. If he did not kill it, he would not be able to quell the anger in Long Fei's heart. Don't kill. I'm afraid he won't be able to leave today. The use of 9-grade immortal spirit consumed a lot of mental energy, so there was only a little bit of time left. If he did not take care of these minions, once they noticed his weakness, they would pounce on him like mad dogs. Thus, Long Fei did not show any mercy, punching them all in the face, killing them all in a second. After killing the last one, Long Fei's body went limp and fell straight to the ground. Ding. System notification. Player has entered an extreme state of exhaustion. Defensive power decreased, attack power decreased. Rub. Long Fei cursed in his heart, even your attack and defense have been weakened during your extreme exhaustion. This 9-grade immortal spirit really needs to be used a little less in the future. This is 2F** King unbearable. If the 9-grade immortal spirit S, the bronze person, hadn't used up all their mental power like this, but Long Fei did according to his own wish, it would be different. His body was currently unable to withstand a consumption that was multiplied by several times. Fatty Chen, who was watching on the side, was dumbfounded. Boss, that is the Black Shark faction's Tiger Shark. Were they killed by you just like that? F***ck me. F***ck CKF** 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 CK. Are you even considered human? He's so handsome that he's almost as handsome as me. Long Fei rolled her eyes at him, and said, Fatty, this is your immortal foundation, there's still half a month left. If you want to enter God Emperor Academy in this half month, you must break through the spiritual level. The assessment this time was different from the previous ones. The God Emperor Academy's assessment this time was aimed at the entire Sky Marshal continent. It could be said that all the geniuses of the continent had come. If he wanted to pass this test on his own, the only way was become stronger. Chen Tianfei received the beast-armored immortal root and said excitedly, Boss, just you wait and see, I will definitely not let you down. At the same time, Chen Tianfei secretly thought in his heart, Grandfather, I will definitely not let you down. I will definitely make the Murong family pay the price. I will definitely make everyone in the Chen family look at me in a new light. I will definitely work hard. And then, Chen Tianfei sat on the floor and directly refined the beast-armored immortal root. Long Fei leaned on the side and started to breathe heavily. Looking at Fatty Chen, Long Fei secretly thought in his heart, the power in his body has yet to awaken. In the end, how will he awaken it? The defense on Fatty's body had indeed become stronger. However, it had not reached the level of invincible defense that Yang Huang ancestor had mentioned. What was missing? The key thing was that the Holy Armor King Kong mission had not been completed yet. It had been almost a month, and it was still not completed. Just that little bit. Long Fei could not think of anything, but he believed that this would happen sooner or later. He was looking forward to Fatty Chen's explosive display. Compared to Li Yuanba and the others, Chen Tianfei's King Kong Road was a little different. Long Fei needed to have more patience to activate the power in his body. Long Fei was not in a hurry. Sooner or later, all 8 great King Kong would be gathered. Heh. Within the darkness, a satisfied sneer could be heard. Long Fei frowned. Is there anyone else? Of course. I didn't expect a trash from the southern domain like you would actually be able to kill the Black Shark faction's Tiger Shark. It's truly surprising. A man in his 20s walked out. There were 3 people behind him. He was dressed in the God Emperor Academy student uniform, with the God Emperor Academy embroidered on his chest. It was very eye-catching. Long Fei's originally extinguished anger exploded forth with a bang. With a gloomy gaze, he stared at the man, and said coldly, You actually saw it, then that should be why he died. The people from God Emperor Academy are here. No doubt about it. This is Murong Tian's man. Long Fei thought, seems like I underestimated this Murong Tian, to think that he could actually order the people from God Emperor Academy to take action. The man disdainfully smiled and said, Is it because I said you're trash from the South Horizon region? What he said isn't wrong. The South Horizon region was originally a wasteland for trash to begin with. After the calamity that struck Long family, not a single expert from the South Horizon region appeared in the God Emperor Academy. Could it be that the South Horizon region isn't a wasteland for trash? Aren't you trash? The man was very proud. In his eyes, Long Fei was now an ant that he was about to trample to death. He didn't care at all. There was no need to rush to kill such a person. Long Fei squinted, stared at the man, and said, "You will die." Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. The four of them laughed at the same time. The man said, "Is it because I'm trash like the tiger shark? Why aren't you looking at yourself? Are you trying to kill me? Are you worthy?" Long Fei slowly stood up and said, "You're not worthy, are you?" Hair. With a cold laugh, Long Fei suddenly grabbed with his right hand, and his body rushed out urgently. He stared at the man, and suddenly shouted, "I'll let you know whether you are worthy or not." Anger welled up once again. The dragon Salia slashed across and roared out in his heart, "Dragon God, give me some strength to cripple him." Boom. The dragon Salia moved, and the valiant figure of the dark dragon god roared, releasing a dragon's roar. Rumble. Rumble. The entire underground space was trembling as rubble rolled down. He did not kill the man with that name. Instead, he locked onto a man beside him. The sword chi formed by the dragon spirit shadow directly devoured him, and right in front of the man, this feeling was incomparable. Crack. Ding. Instant kill dark dragon god's fury. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing God Emperor Academy disciple for obtaining 340 experience points, 29 power of celestial points, and 10 energy values points. As the blade fell, the dragon god appeared and engulfed him. The figure disappeared. It disappeared on the spot as if it had never appeared before. Not even a drop of blood flowed out. At this moment, the space inside the dragon Salia. Dark Dragon God stared intently at the student. The student's legs went weak and he immediately peed his pants in fright. The Dark Dragon God was incomparably large as he coldly said, "Brat, you're very arrogant." The student shook his head. "No, no." Not waiting for him to finish. Dark Dragon God swallowed him whole and started chewing on him. He said unclearly, "Arrogant in front of my big brother, are you tired of living?" Dark Dragon God. Compared to the Dark Dragon God before he leveled up, it was different. Baidu sister-in-law AA half. Floating life strongest upgrade system. He had awakened a few things in his sea of consciousness. It was the same information as the Azure Dragon ancestor. Long Fei. His boss. Chapter 5, 8_841923569554. Long Fei raised his right hand, holding onto the dragon Salia fingers, he pointed at the man's nose. "Come, if you dare to be arrogant again, let me see. Tremble." His body was shaking. He couldn't help but tremble. Dark Dragon God was enraged, the feeling of swallowing was too unbearable. Their minds couldn't take it at all. Are the people of the South Horizon region still trash? Seeing them start to tremble in fear, Long Fei sneered. The man immediately said, "No, no, no." Long Fei asked, "Who's the trash?" The man said, I am trash." Long Fei said, "Since you are a trash, why aren't you apologizing?" The man hurriedly said, "I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I was wrong." Long Fei glared at him, scram. As if granted amnesty, the three of them did not dare to stay for another half a second. Long Fei's voice sank as she said coldly, "I said scram." And then, the three of them rolled on the ground and slowly rolled into the darkness. Only after climbing up for hundreds of meters did they finally madly escape. It was also at this time. Phut! The blood chi on Long Fei's chest roiled and he could not help but vomit out a mouthful of blood. He turned around to look at Fatty Chen, who was not far away, and felt a wave of dizziness enveloping him. Blend of fairy vanes were like people who went into seclusion to break through their shackles. They could not be disturbed, or else they would go berserk and their energy would be exhausted. Thank goodness. Long Fei's face turned pale and he laughed lightly. He staggered and fell to the ground. He couldn't hold on. He couldn't hold on any longer. If he still had half a strength left, Long Fei would have definitely killed all three of them, because his body had already reached the limit of its physical and mental strength and he was on the verge of collapsing. Whoosh, whoosh. Long Fei panted heavily. Yang Huang said sincerely, "Brat, can you not fight so hard in the future? Your body hasn't reached the level where you can spend as much as you want. Do you think this is how you can break through the limit? Are you joking with your life, clear?" Long Fei smiled and said, "Ancestor, it won't happen again. Next time. Next time." The Yang Huang ancestor was angry, but he had no choice against Long Fei. At the same time, he knew that Long Fei's heart was becoming stronger and stronger, day by day. During the 3 years in the South Horizon region, he trampled over Hong Tianjun as if he had gone mad. Now, in this immortal domain, his heart was even stronger than 3 years ago, because he wanted to prove to everyone that the people of the South Horizon region were not trash. His Long family was even less likely to be half a piece of trash. Once, the Long family represented the South Horizon region. Now, the flag that rose up from the Long family landed on his body. He wanted to carry this flag, so that no one in the Sky Marshal continent would dare to look down on the South Horizon region. It had never been this strong. Yang Huang ancestor understood this in his heart, but he wanted to say something but hesitated. Long Fei said, "Ancestor, if you have anything to say, say it." Yang Huang ancestor was silent for a few seconds, then said, "Brat, I know what you're thinking, but you want everyone to look at the people of the South Horizon region in a new light, make the South Horizon region receive more attention, and have a place in the Sky Marshal continent, but you. It is not possible to kill with just your own hands. Killing was just a method. Killing would only cause fear, not respect." Long Fei said, "I know as well, but now, I have no other way. Killing is the only way I have now, and it's also the fastest way." Yang Huang ancestor became silent again. Just as Long Fei had said, massacres could not garner any respect from others, but it could induce fear in others. It was the fastest way for them to rise to prominence. Yang Huang ancestor did not say that killing was bad. Slaughter would only put Long Fei in an even more dangerous position. Long Fei fought with his life on the line every time. There would be a day when he would go through with it. This was what the forefather was worried about. Half an hour passed. In the dark underground darkness, there was another series of hurried footsteps. Long Fei opened his eyes slightly, his fists clenched tightly, and said, "There's nothing left to play, right? Sure. I'll turn the world upside down today." It was also at this time. Fu Shishan shouted anxiously, "Long Fei, where are you?" The Smoke Thunder's gaze tightened, looked towards Long Fei's direction and said, "Over there." Fu Shishan ignored everything and directly rushed into the darkness. Looking at Long Fei, whose face was pale and blood was hanging from the corners of his mouth, she could no longer control her tears and directly threw herself into Long Fei's embrace, hugging him tightly. Man Tuoluo and Xiao Ying had also arrived. Seeing Fu Shishan holding on to Long Fei, Man Tuoluo's heart faintly ached. She was jealous of Fu Shishan, and they could not approach Long Fei. Not to mention jumping into Long Fei's embrace. This was a knot in her heart. This was also the reason why Long Fei was unable to reach 90 points in affability level. She was afraid that she would harm Long Fei. Long Fei lightly patted Fu Shishan's back, and said, "Sis, I'm fine, I'm fine." The Smoke Thunder looked around at the dead disciples of the Black Shark faction, his eyes sinister as he said, "I am not going to look for them, they have gone to look for us first." Black Shark faction. Looking at Long Fei's pale face, the Smoke Thunder's heart sunk as well. It was very angry. Fu Shishan's face flushed red as she withdrew herself from Long Fei's embrace. Looking at him, she said, "I told you a long time ago that you had to have Uncle Lei follow you even if you wanted to come to the underground river. You just won't listen." It felt good to have someone to worry about. This was something that he couldn't understand in his previous life. Long Fei looked at Fu Shishan and said, "I'm fine. These Black Shark faction's minions won't be able to do anything to me, hehe." He did not want Fu Shishan and the others to worry too much. Thus, He also did not speak of the matter of the appearance of the God Emperor Academy's students. God Emperor Academy. The strongest power in the immortal domain. Once he made a move on the Fengyuan Merchant Union, it would be hard for them to have a foothold in the immortal domain. This was Long Fei's problem. He did not want to involve Fu Shishan and the others in it. However, he did not know. He had already involved the Fengyuan Merchant Union. Another hour passed. The qi on Chen Tianfei's body was slowly absorbed by his body, releasing a few loud and resounding bell chimes. Fatty Chen opened his eyes. He became excited. Ha ha ha. It's been fused. I've fused. Boss, I've fused a second immortal foundation. Where are the bastards of God Emperor Academy? I'm going to kill them. Even though Chen Tianfei was at the blend of fairy vein, he could clearly see what was happening around him. Fu Shishan immediately asked, God Emperor Academy's disciple? What disciple? 36O search. Half-floating / / equals Long Fei immediately glared at Chen Tianfei. Chen Tianfei was surprised for a moment, and said, I'm talking about those bastards of Black Shark faction. What about their disciples? I never said anything about them. Long Fei hurriedly changed the topic, and said, Sis, let's go back. I'm about to faint from hunger. Fu Shishan glared at Long Fei, and said, serves you right. Chapter 6. Thank you brothers for your monthly tickets in March, please. 8_8419235695. Late at night in the Murong Mansion. Late at night in the Murong Mansion. Murong Tian's courtyard. The three disciples of God Emperor Academy fled in panic. On the way back, their legs were trembling, and they were even swaying when walking. The fear in their hearts was imprinted on their minds and they felt it. The dark dragon god stuck close to his face as he flew over. The hideous appearance of the beast kept playing in his mind. Too terrifying. Junior brother, we did not settle the matter well, and we do not need the fairy stones. The leader, who was still in a daze, looked at Murong Tian, who had his hands behind his back. Murong Tian did not speak. The man continued, that kid from the South Horizon region is extraordinary. Junior brother, I think it's best not to provoke him. Heh. Ah, ha, ha. Murong Tian suddenly let out a cold laugh. The man's face darkened as he asked, Junior brother Murong, why are you laughing? Murong Tian slowly turned around, revealing a disdainful face, and said, I never thought that you would be able to kill him, and never held any hope. A man's forehead shook as he asked, then why did you want us to go find him? Murong Tian said playfully, because you guys are easy to use. He said angrily for the man, Murong Tian, what do you mean by this? Murong Tian's hands became claws, and the image of a white tiger appeared on the claws. With a loud roar, it instantly grabbed onto the throat of one of the senior fellow apprentices. The image of the white tiger rushed into his body. Crack. A twisted throat, instant death. In that instant, Murong Tian's left hand moved again, using the same method to instantly kill the other senior fellow apprentice. There was only one male left in the courtyard. He continuously retreated, and asked solemnly, Murong Tian, just what is it for? Murong Tian smiled and said, if you guys die, I can blame it on the Fengyuan Merchant Union. Didn't Long Fei have the Fengyuan Merchant Union as his backer? Then let's see whether his backer will be tough enough, or the God Emperor Academy will be tough enough. The man said, 2 have already died, the 2 of them are enough. I won't say anything. From now on, I am a dog from the Murong family. Murong Tian laughed disdainfully, you want to be the Murong family's dog? You are not yet qualified. Ah! Boom! After 3 moves, the man died. Murong Tian looked at the 3 corpses in the courtyard and laughed coldly, if you didn't die, how would you have angered Master? You are Master's illegitimate child, and even you do not know about this, right? Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. At this moment, Murong Fenglei walked in and looked at Murong Tian. Tiana, have you activated the White Tiger Immortal Route to the 6th level? Murong Tian said, Father, this is only the beginning. If I fuse with another type of Demon Beast Immortal Route, I can raise the white tiger immortal root in my body to the 7th, 8th, or even higher levels. Murong Fenglei became excited and said, "All right. As long as we can bring down the Fengyuan Merchant Union, the president of the Family Jin Union will reward us with a 3rd-grade demon beast immortal root." At that time, Murong Fenglei was extremely excited. The time had come for his Murong family to rise again. In his heart, Murong Tian said coldly, "Long Fei, this is the God Emperor city, not the South Horizon region where you're going to take the trash for a fight. Let's see how I'll kill you." Only after recuperating for an entire day did Long Fei recover. This was all thanks to the pills refined by Man Tuoluo. Otherwise, he wouldn't have recovered his strength so quickly. The fatty was rather carefree. He ate all day as if he didn't need money. The next day, Fu Shishan came to the courtyard with his brows locked tight. Seeing Long Fei walking over, he immediately changed his face into a smiling one and said, "You should take a good rest during these next 2 days. Don't run around anymore." Long Fei laughed. "Sis, looking at your unhappy expression just now, did someone anger you? Tell me, I'll help you vent your anger." Fu Shishan glared at him and said, "You're right in front of me, why don't you vent your anger on me?" Long Fei scratched his head and said, "I won't run around randomly next time." "Right. Sis, I heard from Man Tuoluo yesterday that there are still 9 days before the God Emperor Cities organize the auction, right? Is there anything I can do?" Long Fei really wanted to help Fu Shishan do something. It had always been Fu Shishan helping Long Fei, and Long Fei also wanted to do something for her. Speaking of the auction, Fu Shishan's brows tightened again, and said slightly, "The goods sent by the Fengyuan Merchant Union from outside have not arrived yet. According to the agreement, they should have arrived yesterday." That was a great treasure. This time, it was the key for the Fengyuan Merchant Union to increase their influence in the God Emperor city. With the strength of the Fengyuan Merchant Union, as well as their position as the 7th in the auction house, it was a great opportunity for them to get into the top 5. She absolutely could not allow any mishaps to occur. Otherwise, Long Fei asked, "Did something happen?" Fu Shishan regained his composure and said, "Nothing, right, this auction is being held for students who are participating in the God Emperor Academy's assessment. I came here yesterday to ask if you have anything you want to buy. Immortal foundation, immortal equipment, or immortal pills. Big sister, I can't help you with anything else, but you don't have to worry about money." She had not been idle all this time. He sold his private money and some of the things from before, and gathered 1,000 fairy stones for Long Fei. Long Fei said, "I don't have anything I want to buy." Fu Shishan said, "Could it be that God Emperor Academy's assessment coefficient is very high? You have to make more preparations. How about this? At that time you will come with me to the auction. If there is anything you need you to tell me, I will buy it for you. Also, do you have anything you want to sell? Man Tuoluo's pills are not bad. If you want to sell them, I can help you." Fu Shishan immediately walked forward when he saw Man Tuoluo walking out. Training was a competition of talent. However, it didn't matter if he was just a little bit short of talent. As long as he was rich, he would be able to buy resources and obtain limitless possibilities for free. This point was something that Fu Shishan, as a merchant, was extremely clear of. This time, the auction was like a meeting of money. Whoever spent more would be able to obtain more resources, and in just a few short days, there would be a huge change. Long Fei said, "Sis, do you need to keep watch?" Fu Shishan laughed. "There are some things in the Fengyuan Merchant Union's territory, I won't trouble you to worry about them. Just look for anything you want to sell, and earn some pocket money or something." Man Tuoluo said, "When the time comes, I will refine a few groups of poison pills." Fu Shishan immediately agreed, "No problem, I'll definitely help you sell it for a high price." Since the Fengyuan Merchant Union did not need anything to hold back, then Long Fei was too lazy to think about it. He did not want any fairy stones anyway. Yang Huang ancestor disdained, "You don't want, I want. Do you still want me to train those ghost soldiers?" Long Fei. Chapter 7. Thank you brothers for supporting us with your monthly tickets in March. 8_8419235696. You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.